Greetings, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. My dog started barking right on cue, but you probably can't hear it. We have been talking about this for a long time, haven't we,
We really
MauLer?
have, yes. You might even say, 7 years, something like that. Because
It-
it would have been when I met you with Game of Thrones, right?
Yep.
So, and then we quickly found out we both liked the show, and then we were like, we should talk about it sometime. And then we never did.
And we kept on saying we should talk about it sometime for 7 years.
Mm-hmm. So,
And
early for us, we managed to get this done quick.
yeah, there's some comedy arcs that might not be out for another 7 years. You never know.
Oh, one day. Who knows?
One day. But I think what really spurred this along was the possibility of a Buffy pilot that actually
Yes.
got shot.
It does exist. It's out there.
If anybody has a copy of that, I'd love to see it. Big ransom
Yeah.
money for that.
And I'd love to know how much it differs from that script as well. Screenplay.
That script was something else. The one that Sarah Michelle Gellar said, please don't read.
It's like she knew.
She knew. Oh, so we thought there might be a pilot and release the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Release the Zhao cut.
Or I guess we'll have to wait, I don't know, 5 years and there'll be a new reboot that gets a bunch of hype.
I don't think we have to wait that much. I think
Probably
once
not.
Sarah said she's willing to go in, I think they need enough time to not, I don't know, hurt Chloe Zhao's feelings. I don't know. But I think
I know what you mean. It's like a cool down period.
Yeah.
That kind of happened with the first attempt when Joss Whedon got cancelled and it all got ended. It's like, so we got to wait for a cool down before we can try that again.
Yep. Yeah, because there was going to be a full-on reboot with a black girl Buffy that Anita Sarkeesian was steadfastly
called Nova
against. Yes.
Man.
Was it going to be Nova the Vampire Slayer?
Hell yeah. Even though if you wanted a black Slayer and you didn't want to ruin any kind of current plot lines and stuff, you just just tell the story with the Slayer Spike killed. It's right there.
Yeah, it's right there.
That'd be a cool single season, but oh well.
It's gone for now. Everybody's getting old. And David Boreanaz is the only guy who has a real career out of any of this.
Yeah. Essentially, that's what's happening. It's kind of a sad thing for me because just so many of these actors show what they're able to do in this show. Because this is all going to be squared around season 1, as I'm sure the title revealed. Alison Hannigan, she gets to do some acting in this season a couple of times, and obviously as the show goes on, she does amazing acting, and it's kind of like, what does she do after this? It's How I Met Your Mother, American Pie. She was in that Date movie. It's kind of just stuff that's it's good for a career or whatever, but she never gets to show off how good of an actress she is ever again, basically. And you're like, oh. Sarah Michelle Gellar is kind of the same thing. The best of her acting, sort of some of the stuff you see in season 5 and 6, you don't see that in anything else she makes after this. And she doesn't like that season, so I don't think you would have seen it in the Buffy reboot either.
No.
It's opportunities don't come up because James Marsden is a huge example. It's he's fucking excellent in this, and he didn't get to do much after it.
No, he was pretty sought after, and he ended up being in other genre stuff, Torchwood, Smallville, but then it just kind of petered out.
Well, from what I understand, his reading of the Dresden Files is the sort of the main thing he has going in terms of an awesome creative outlet, and that people really love him doing. I would have loved to have seen him in way more films doing awesome work, but it just didn't seem to happen, unfortunately.
It didn't happen, but what did happen?
Yeah, I was gonna say, but this did. So this is
this happened. We have this, and it's strange because when Buffy was out, it wasn't like a ratings juggernaut or anything. It did really well. Cult status, had a very passionate fandom that carried it through, but in recent years and later years, it got its DVD releases, never got released on Blu-ray. Never got remastered horribly,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And what if you watch it even on DVD or Hulu, it looks terrible.
Yeah, they ruined everything.
Yeah.
The guy who did the color grading for the originals before, because he died before they even completed the full set, but he still commented on some of the first few seasons. He was just like, so they've just destroyed all of my work. Cool. It's like, that's great.
Oh, he passed away?
Yeah, like before they'd completed all of it, but the reason I mentioned that is just that he'd seen some of it, because they released it season by season, and he was just like, yeah, it's because they don't grade it, they just leave it blank, I think, in the remaster, and they maximize the frame, or they zoom in because they can't bring the the widescreen sort of shit for the remaster. It is a disgusting joke of a remaster, but unfortunately, that's fast forward enough years, and that'll be the main way everyone's watching Buffy if they watch it at all.
Where is the remaster? What is it on?
I think anywhere you can stream Buffy, it's the remaster now, but that's primarily. I used to know this, but now it's just not how I ever watch it. So I've like forgotten it as information.
Yeah, I don't think it's Hulu.
Oh, it's Disney, of course. Yeah.
It looks god awful. Everything looks god awful. There's artifacting still. It's just
everyone looks plasticky, rubbery because they've put a film grain filter over it to remove the oldness. And it's just like nice guys. Excellent job. Which we've seen in other 4Ks and stuff. But yes, obviously Disney owned Buffy now, among other things, because of the acquisition. So yeah, you can watch it on Disney Plus.
That is so unbelievable. And yeah, it's going to be called Disney Plus like really soon.
You know what's annoying? The Simpsons on Disney Plus, you can choose to view it in its native 4:3, the golden age, because they put it automatically in widescreen, which fucks a lot of things up. You shouldn't be watching it in widescreen. No. Buffy doesn't have that feature. It doesn't have the please play the originals, not the remasters. Please, because of course you know what they'd say. They're like, the remasters are better though. And you're like, yeah, right.
No. Well, on Hulu, it's 4:3. It's shitty, but I mean, it's the same. Like I watch the DVDs.
I've just got copies locally and forever will. I've got the HDs as well because I have to reference them every once in a while. It's like a horrible piece of shit that ruined everything,
Yes. As far as season ones go, and this came out in 97
as a replacement, right?
As a replacement,
a half season replacement. They didn't even get the full thing.
Which
is funny because it's longer as a half season than most seasons of.
I know, right? Hang on, I'm gonna look up. What do you know? What show it was a replacement for?
I used to know. It's on the Wikipedia page for sure, like the history. But knowing it's like a haphazard replacement on a shoestring budget, something that's constructed from a reattempt from a failed movie, which we should probably mention, I guess.
Yes, it was a movie written by Joss Whedon.
I saw that movie, I think, after I'd seen like seasons 3, 4, 5-ish when I was younger, and I remember being like, "What the fuck is this bizarro Buffy? Like, what is happening? What is all this?" It was very strange. But hey, Donald Sutherland was fun, even though I'm pretty sure he did not like that role at all.
Probably not, but it was I remember hearing about the movie when it first came out, and we got a chuckle because it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So it's like this, it was a funny concept back in when it came out. And I watched the movie and I actually didn't hate the movie. Never thought it would be. When I heard it was becoming a series, I'm like, what?
yeah, it's insane. And by the way, Donald Sutherland and Rutger Hauer, Christy Swanson, right? And who this other who am I? The cast is kind of insane. Yeah, it's I guess they thought maybe it would work, but it didn't quite work out, But yeah, the TV show reattempts it, and I don't know. I guess yeah. So, did you see what it replaced or no?
Yes, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a mid-season replacement for the short-lived soap opera Savannah. Savannah on the WB network as a mid-season replacement. Buffy premiered March 1997. So that's a long time ago. We're close to 30 years from its premiere. You want to
Well, and
feel
I guess,
old.
you know, part of season 1 is that there's lots about it that you can describe with the word camp or clunk or
Yep.
dry or slow or a victim of its the trappings of that era in lots of different ways. It's definitely not found its full identity at this point. It's
No,
very much a this is how TV works question mark, which is funny because upon rewatch it still hits in the sense of, yeah, this is structured like a TV show. It has a start, middle, and end for each episode, and they add toward a, you know, grander story, which is something that they've failed to crack these days with many TV shows.
it's crazy how the roadmap has been there, MauLer. You know, Doctor Who, when RTD took it over, completely ripped off the concept of Buffy for his return. That's what inspired it, and it was
Yeah,
those little nuggets that you put in that didn't interfere with the entirety of an episode, right?
but they
And you
make it.
still mention it a couple times, but it still works.
Yeah, no, it becomes like the mutant enemy style, and I absolutely love it. The like,
Mhm.
you know, episode 1 deals with A, but it drops a hint for C, and then episode 2 is the finishing A, and then another hint for C, and then you get the third episode. And it's like, right, we're dealing with C now, but oh, there's a hint of B, and then moving about A, and it's just like you keep everything flowing until you have the really crumbs of like the final boss, and then they make the finale a big deal because they're hoping to get renewed. They're like,
Yeah.
if you get the big ratings for the end, which also prompts them to then have the bigger arcs lead to the end, have a boss that's built up until the end, and it just makes for good TV.
You had to wonder if they were thinking this ain't getting renewed, you know. But
Well, so
you
from
know,
what I remember reading about is that that's like the demise of Angel was they kept having to wait on edge for whether or not they get renewed every time, and then he wanted them to renew it quicker this time so that he could tell everybody whether or not they're going home, you know, like flying. And by prompting them early, the studio, they said no, but then the ratings for Angel season 5 were really good, so if he'd waited, they would have said yes.
uh,
You know, it's that awkward sort of, but I don't know. That's just how it goes. Unfortunately for me, like Mutant Enemy were at their best with Angel season 5 and Firefly season 1. You know, that sort of area. Buffy season 6. It's just kind of like another season from that team would have been neat.
it would have, and if they would have got back to it sooner, um, it probably would have worked a lot better. They probably could have revisited, like even within 10 years, but Joss Whedon was off making Marvel movies, being a big director, and that ship had sailed. I always thought they would come back to it, but then there were the problems with Joss, you know, that
Yeah.
rose up later. But you know who's watching it now is Perry. Perry hadn't watched it, so he's like, "Thanks for getting me into Buffy. I'm loving it." So he finished season 1, and what did he say?
And he's loving it.
He's loving it. He said.
Season 1. All right. You know.
He says it's like Goosebumps on steroid with hot women.
Yeah,
I'm like,
kind of. That is,
yeah,
you know, but it gets way better. So if you're liking it by season 1, you're gonna love it. Is kind of
yeah,
the way it goes.
it gets way better. But as far as season 1s go, comparatively,
Mhm.
it's not the worst season 1.
It's okay.
Yeah.
There's bad for sure. There's lots of bad, but like there's also stuff that's kind of like, all right, that's yeah. And there's plenty of DNA in it that you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be something they really work on later and get better. I think broadly, I assume the plan is we're probably gonna reference the future, but simultaneously avoid, you know, quote unquote spoilers a bit ish here and there. I don't know. Just in
Yeah,
case.
we're gonna stay on season 1 and just work our way. And
But like
we're working this out as we go.
what I mean
It's
is like
kind of like
if
season 1 of Buffy.
some lines from like Angel or Dollar or the Bastard, you're like, oh shit, that's kind of relevant to Angel season 5. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, we'll do what we can, I guess, to move around.
Yeah. I mean, we could apply rules and then I would break them.
Yes, we will. What I guess I'm saying is like you can do a season watch and watch us review it and back and forth and everything, but fair warning, we're probably going to spoil some stuff.
Yeah, but you can start watching it if you haven't in really shitty quality on Hulu, or I don't know, you can get the DVD somewhere, probably at a secondhand store.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have started trying to find the collections. They do exist. They're
They do,
around
and there's
on
good
eBay and stuff.
behind the scenes stuff on it. There's it's when they took time and cared about that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's
the good old days.
That's how I caught up on them. That's how I binged them. Was with physical media. So because as I told you, I didn't watch this show right away. I thought it was gay and stupid. Of course I hadn't watched it. And it was a girl who got me into it, my wife. So it was still on the air, but I resisted at first. But I remember going to my local comic shop down in San Diego when it came out, and that's what everybody just talked about. That's what everybody was talking about for a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, my version of this is that I grew up with enough sisters that they would be watching this anyway. They were the right age demographic for it. I was a lot younger, but I still have a really strong memory of we just had the playroom where everyone, the kids sort of do whatever they want and then also watch TV. And I wasn't allowed to watch TV with them at a certain time of night. They didn't even say what they were watching, but it was this. And I was just like, one day I did do like a very stealthy, gradually open the door without them hearing it. And I watched, I know it was definitely season 3 of Buffy. It was a whole episode of it just through the crack in the door. And I was like, this show's cool. I don't even, it could very well have been because I struggle to remember fully, but when the, what happens to the mayor's aide without spoiling anything, if you remember that episode.
Yes.
So, definitely too old for me, but I ended up seeing like a couple of episodes via that strategy until I was found out, and then I gradually realized they were watching a show called Buffy. Sounded weird, but that was just
You were
like
caught. What happened when you were caught?
Well, just like anything that I'm not allowed to. I watched loads of stuff I wasn't allowed to film wise, and it was just a matter of you shouldn't be watching this. Are you okay? And then I'm like, yeah. They're just like, okay. Like,
Sit down then.
Well, yeah, they did, I think, try for about like a half a year or so to stop me from watching it, but then they were like, he can watch season 1. It's nothing too bad happens in that. And then it became season 2 and then 3, and then eventually it was just like, fuck it doesn't matter. He can watch it. It's pretty chill. And the funny part of that story, of course, is the one season they trusted the show on at this point that I could see on my own was 6 without having watched it themselves. If you could imagine, that was the one season that would not want to happen with. They wouldn't have let me watch that if they saw it first. They didn't know what was in it, but it was something like they'd got the box set, but they were going on some kind of like trip or holiday. So I was like, can I watch it? They're like, yeah, I guess. Oof. Which for reference, right? So 97 is season 1.
Yep.
So 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002. So I would have been 9 years old when I watched season 6. Probably not the most suitable, but I loved it. I thought it was excellent.
There you go. I was watching, I don't know. I was watching Night Gallery and crazy shit when I was like, I don't know, 6 and 7.
6, 7, huh?
We're fine. Oh God, I did it again. That's the second time today. I don't even know what it means, and I don't care.
I don't know.
All right, I don't care. But yes, this is a 12 episode season, which would be like a massive season of television today. That was probably produced in what did they probably did principal photography in like a couple of months,
a couple of
hours.
Just rushing this. Because yeah, I don't know about you, but I always associated Buffy season 1, even when I was younger, as like the slow start season. You get some stuff in it that's fun, but like it's the one that they hadn't figured anything out yet. Though you know about the production stuff behind the scenes, like, well, yeah, this was probably tough for them to make, honestly. And that it came out this coherent is kind of neat.
It's kind of a miracle, really.
Yeah.
But you know, getting the right cast together, and that helps. And who knew that they had like this team of writers that was just going to go on and do all this, you know, brilliant stuff in Hollywood, who also knew that it was going to create a style of television that would get copied horribly to this very day.
Which is funny because, of course, it is like a nexus point for a bunch of inspirations. Because, like, you know, take for example, you know, like the Invisible Girl episode in this season.
Yep.
I was curious if there's is there any kind of like X-Files in there with the government coming in and trying to be like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, because obviously inspirations go like Twilight Zone would obviously have inspired a bit of Buffy, as well as like Twin Peaks would have been something that were there's all Buffy's an interesting point in television evolution. where the way I usually end up looking at it is that because Twin Peaks is like the beginning, right? Where instead of strictly episodic, we start going serialized. And there's this mutation period that has some of my favorite TV in it, where they kind of do both. And Buffy's one of those examples where it's like you can watch the season out of order for the most part, you'll be okay, but you still get stories that build up over time and then pay off in huge ways down the line. The big thing that I think that I realized when watching it this time, that I often do, is just how much they reference the things they set in stone in this season going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy shit, they don't retcon a lot. They really stick to a lot of what is said here about certain characters. One of the big ones for me is that I find funny. Angel says he's since getting a soul, he's never fed on a living human being. Do you remember, like, they have him feed on one human in his past, but it's dead.
Yep.
So you know what I mean? Like they were like, we can't make that. They could have just made him a liar, but no, they were like, no, we're gonna stick.
Or they could have retconned it. Like back in those days, you could have just done it, contradicted it.
Season one's non-canon. Fuck it, you know.
And yeah, you maybe catch it on a rerun, but you know, God, that has to really affect how you make things now. Is rewatchability and the ease of rewatchability.
I just find it's almost unbelievable how much they adhere to their own continuity. Like they really respect even their worst stuff. They will reference it down the line forever. There's loads of stuff in season 1 that just comes up as the show goes on, and you're kind of like, oh shit, yeah, that did happen. Like the praying mantis with Zed, that comes up a bunch of times as like a thing, and it's like one of the most embarrassing episodes. But I love the brazenness that they're like, yeah, we did that. That's an episode that happened.
It happened. Deal with it. You know what, though? Even in the bad episodes, there's enough. What carries them, what I always cite as an example, and I know you do too, is characters. When you have characters you give a crap about with good performances, it carries you through the shitty episodes. It carries you through Star Trek, the original series, season 3. You know, because it's still got Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, and the same goes here. And that episode is really bad, but I've watched it. I don't know. It's not like I skip it. It's not like I skip an episode.
I don't want anyone skipping season 1 at this point, even though some people are like, oh, come on, I can skip some of the bad ones. Like, no, but
no.
When you get those little scenes that are really good for all the characters, by the time then you enter season 2, where bigger, more important, impactful stuff happens, you've already got them all in your head, all the characters, you're good to go, instead of learning them while big things are happening. Because season 2 gets started straight away with she's dealing with the PTSD of what happened at the end of this, you know, and like the effects of that, and then you get Spike in episode 3.
Yeah, and the effects of, well, we'll get to it. The finale, like carry on to a lot, like has major impact. And the thing is, they're setting up the Master, who was a good villain who stood in a room for you know,
man,
for most of the series.
He's so there's this approach that Buffy has, and they change their mind. One of the most fun things I have whenever I'm watching this show with someone is where they're like, wow, the Master, he's very theatrical. It's like, yeah,
he's very he has to be. It's like, here's our budget. You're in a broken down church underground, and you're trapped in kind of a bubble.
And you're mad at all of your minions failing constantly.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I like the actor. I don't think the dialogue is as great as it could be for the Master. A lot of it is like, I will rise one day, and you must facilitate this rise. Rise, I'm going to, I'll kill everybody.
Any day now, I'm going to rise.
What's funny is, like, I don't, when he dies, I'm not like, oh no, I'm gonna miss him as a villain. However, if you remember, he comes back in the Wish episode of season 3.
Yeah.
And he gets a bunch of flashbacks. He's like really good in the Wish episode because his dialogue, because that season 3 is super fucking consistent. Like, it's the writing's way better.
It's Mark Metcalf, by the way, who's famous for being in Twisted Sister videos. And why am I blanking on what army movie was he in? He was in, he was in a comedy. Was it Animal House? I can't remember. But yeah, he was really famous for being in Twisted Sister videos. What are you gonna do with your life? Animal House. He was also in Animal House.
But when he's like one in the season 3 episodes, I just find him extremely entertaining. And then if you remember the scene where he sires Darla in a flashback, is actually like pretty effective. The what he's all about, sort of thing. And so in retrospect, it's like, oh, it's a shame they hadn't really figured him out at this point. He's still got all of the trappings of. They refer to him as he's the vampire king at one point. It's like.
Mhm.
That doesn't really stick as a thing for the master going forward. He's more just an old vampire as the lore develops instead of vampire king who I guess like his being alive or breaking out opens the Hellmouth and him dying closes it. You know, the Hellmouth evolve like all the lore slightly tweaks as you go on, you know.
Yeah, but the power connected to the Hellmouth closing was obviously based on him being alive, right? I'm kind of surprised they resisted the temptation to like really bring him back.
Yeah, because you get him back only in an alternate like universe type thing, and then flashbacks. You don't get him actually coming back.
Yeah, and he's like a cool looking villain. Like the look is cool. But
no, yeah, I almost. It's a shame in some of the scenes of season 1 where they're clearly flashing to him to keep you being like, "Don't worry, this stuff happened in here. It's not just high school. It's also this guy." And it's just unfortunate because you're like the thing that's the funniest to me, dude, is the 3. The 3
yeah.
was so fucking hilarious. It's like, all right, Buffy, you've pissed me off a little too much now. I'm summoning the 3, and it's like,
Here comes. Oh, you're like, oh shit, the 3 must be dangerous.
they know, like Giles like cites them in this ancient book, and it's like, oh, they're like vampire mercenaries, and if you're getting them sent after you, you've done something to piss them off.
Cooked.
They have a really bad fight. They awkwardly try to get into Buffy's house, and she just closes the door on him. And then they go back to the master, and he just kills them.
And he kills him.
It's the 3 was
and Darla kills him. Yeah. So, oh god, it was. But I think, I mean, played for laughs, and it worked, and that kind of sets you up on how they go about things, especially when they get to a Dracula episode, which is early episodes, MauLer. Okay, so when I first watched, I'm trying to think back to when I must have liked it because it was a long time ago though. I'm old. I'm so fucking old. When I watched it with Melissa's like, you got to watch this show. So what she did was she gave me an elevator pitch that was really fucking good. I'm like, all right, I thought this thing was gay, but let's give it a shot. She's like, no. She's all, it's superheroes. It's comic book. And I'm like, all right. And they make comic book references all the time. Oh, by the way, they make an X-Files reference. They say Scully.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
So you trying to Scully me or something like that.
So I'm like, all right.
Did you catch the Star Trek reference as well?
Which one? Yes.
I think it's the finale.
Yes.
Giles is saying like we need to not be emotional, we need to stick to it, and he says I'm not going to be like let's not go with Locutus of the Borg over here.
Yes. Okay. I just watched that like an hour ago. Not even an hour ago. No, lots of comic book reference, Spidey sense and all that stuff. And just to give the youngins, you 6'7" crowd, God, it's probably younger than that, right? God, I'm old. Reference is we were such nerds that when the stuff we loved just got mentioned in a show, it got us excited because there was nothing, right? So in the show, the OC, they would have a comic book club. So comic book fans would watch the OC because they had a comic book club. Now it might have been because of the hot women too. I'll just say that. And there's hot, I say this now as 56, but I was much younger when I was watching it. So there's hot women in Buffy too. But like if you got a reference, it was awesome. In Quentin Tarantino, if they in Reservoir Dogs, they would show a Silver Surfer poster or mention Silver Surfer in God damn it, Crimson Tide. So yeah, like we get excited. It's like, oh my God, they mentioned this thing we love that we're considered like it was the shame of our youth to have comic books.
And the crazy aging well benefit of that is they're referencing all the comics, and then if you rewatch this show post the MCU craze, they become like contemporary references that everyone understands anyway. obviously not just the MCU, but all superhero comic adapted stuff. But like season 5 of Angel, they have a Steve Rogers reference to like a super soldier, and it's just
Yep.
it's strictly a comic thing. Where it's like, well, now it's not just strictly a comic thing. A lot of it's just normal information for loads of people anyway.
Yeah, the good old days where I wish we were at again, but that's another story for another day. Season 1 consists of 12 episodes, MauLer.
It does.
The first episode is Welcome to the Hellmouth, which is like obviously a pilot, right? It's a 2-part pilot. You can tell it's a pilot, especially how it ends. But it does its work.
I actually think it's a solid pilot. It is. The first scene, I'm just like, this is kind of cute in the sense of knowing what this show's all about, where it goes, right? Like it's the spooky school late at night, and there's a girl and a guy heading in. They're hearing some noises, and it's like, is the guy potentially evil? Is there something evil that's going to get this couple? And it's like, no, the girl is the vampire, and she eats him. And you're like, oh shit, and it's Darla, which is kind of fun.
So it's subverting expectations when like you were actually subverting them at the time. So it's like, ooh, this is a bit different. Oh my God, stop. You just heard that. I was like bringing up the episode so I can look at them for reference. Oh, stop. Each generation a Slayer is born.
Well, we can talk about that if you want. It's like it's like a trailer for the season every time you start it up. And that guy's voice is so funny.
It's like this. Well, so I don't know how you guys did things in the UK, but that was pretty fucking normal for a show. Remember, like Fireflies was like it's like a tome. It's like in the future they tell you the whole background of Firefly. It's like the longest one I've ever heard.
I think the it throws me out because you remember, I think it's season 2 they switched to Giles is saying it instead, and it's way better because he's got a way better narration than and that to me is a big indication of how things change over the course of season 1 is the campiest, obviously, but it's also like appealing to conventions of, I guess, gothic horror that the show wants to take advantage of, but realizes it's like it's got its own route to take. And that guy's voice compared to Giles is almost like an example of that. Another example would be The Anointed is. It's like, oh, what if a devil child? And you're like, okay, what are we doing with that? And it's like, well, I don't know. And you're just like, okay. And then, not to spoil again, but like, what better symbolism of how the show evolves than Devil Child is around and Devil Child is doing. What the fuck is the point of Devil Child? It's like, okay, Spike. He's a vampire who's got a history of killing 2 slayers. He's kind of a punk rocker, and he's got a very distinct look. He's British, and he's gonna just come on the scene, and he's just gonna fucking kill the Anointed. You're like, what?
I fucking love that so much. For one, the kid was annoying. He had it coming.
Yes,
okay,
he was annoying. It's so iconic of the show to me, that process of like, listen, we've made something that's not working. We're gonna kill it.
Yep.
Like, okay.
You can clearly tell like they introduced this idea in season 1 and then they just kind of like, oh, and maybe because the kid actor wasn't good. I'd love to hear what was behind that, or it just wasn't working.
No, but they didn't even really try. He doesn't do much. He's just sort of there. It's like, but they make a big deal about the Anointed arriving, the whole episode for it, and then he keeps turning up. And to me, I'm just like, this. So that you're doing Damien, I guess, but I don't know why you've just not progressed it any further. And this, in the same way, this is what I meant about like Buffy progressing. They do their own Frankenstein. The Master, in a way, is their own Dracula. Obviously, they do the Wolfman like a couple of times. Creature from the Black Lagoon being like the Go Fish episode, which is like really bad.
God.
There's a lot of stuff like that, and then it's like, what are their most successful bad guys? Like, well, one of them is a completely made up bad guy in Hush, right? Season 4.
Yep.
And it's just like, what? You guys should just make your own shit up. Like, you don't need to keep trying to do your spin on whatever. Is almost leading them into weird places because they end up going of, 1, more character focus, and 2, just more customized to build things that apply to story instead of like we want to do a story, but also we'll throw in the Invisible Girl because the Invisible Man type of thing. And it's like, yeah, you can do it. And by the way, I think that's one of the better episodes of the season. It's just that they almost get to be freer instead of being like, well, we are this show, so we should do this, right? Like Spike is a complete, custom creation. And it also opens them up to being a little bit more interesting with their vampires, because season 1 vampires are mostly like, rawr, I'm going to kill you, rawr, and attacking. Like, all right,
Yeah.
even the master, to an extent. Dollar and Angel are the most sort of like, wait a minute, vampires seem kind of interesting, maybe. But then Spike kind of just blows it open of like, holy shit, this guy's like the most interesting character ever. What the hell?
Well, and we'll get there when we get to season 2. They to the point where they kept them when they weren't gonna. I was trying to look up. God, this is embarrassing, but again, I'm old. In the episode "Go Fish," one of the kids, one of the guys who becomes
Prison Break.
Is I've co-hosted with him early days on this show because he was the roommate of my old co-host Dennis. So like his name was Aaron, right? So yeah, he was just in picture form, he was Janeway's kid because he was a kid actor, right? So he's gone off to do normal work now. But yeah, he was in that episode. So yeah, and he would tell me that I'm in the worst episode of Buffy.
Well, there's competition on that front, but I was going to say one of the kids in that episode is Wentworth Miller, the Prison Break guy. So
yes,
yeah.
Wentworth. So welcome to the Hellmouth. So what are your feelings on like how well do you think the movie takes place in this universe? I mean, they kind of talk about it, but it's not exactly
it's one of those
right.
things where it isn't compatible in the sense of there's slightly different mechanics in that film, and of course slightly different characters and everything. But in season 2, when they do the flashback of when she met the first Watcher and everything, I think you're supposed to broadly assume that what happened in that movie kind of did happen to Buffy in this universe, and I think it makes sense.
Yeah,
it's like it's canon in the sense that most of that is probably how it went for her, but it's also not canon in the sense that not literally that, because it doesn't quite work with a couple of things. But don't worry about it. So think of it as someone just said, a version of the movie is somewhat canon.
Yeah. I'm looking at that opening scene. That's the really long like montage where she's having a dream. So it goes on way too long. The editor means like cut this down, and you could see her just tossing and turning.
It's like a season 1 trailer.
It was
all the bad guys of season 1 in there. You could tell they're totally like, we got to show this, otherwise people think our show is lame.
And the poor principals in this show.
Oh my, yeah, Principal Flutie. What a sad soul.
What a sad way to end. Oh my god,
it was rough, man. But yeah, structurally right. It's like we give you a subversive, surprising opening scene that's got some horrible death in it, and then a big old flash of what you might see throughout the whole season, and then introducing Buffy, then Xander, then Willow, then Cordelia, and this her history, the school, and Giles, who I love his intro. So
yeah,
well, I'm not sure we're going to talk about characters by season or by episode or whatever, but as far as I'm concerned, he carries season 1.
He's the MVP for sure.
Every scene he's in is good. It's worthwhile. His acting, man, is so important. They had someone who's not only good at acting but takes this seriously no matter what. So when he's reading something like Garagu, the ancient gobbler of the Sistine Chapel of ancient Greece, it's like, yes, he says it all in a way that's like, no, he believes this is dangerous. It keeps you in instead of being like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, well, it's the British accent. Come on, and he's a good actor. Anthony Stewart Head is a good actor. Would have been a great doctor.
He has, so many good expressions even in season 1. He takes so much. He's clearly. I already know that he added a bunch to this. Like the thing that always surprised me about Buffy was how well it does British shit. when it's an American show, and you find out that it's because like he would just make suggestions. He'd be like, "You should throw this word in, or you should have them say this, or you should do that." He helped Alexis Denisof immensely with Wesley, like how you should say certain things, or what you should reference, or what you should care about. One of the things I think is in this season, right, where he gets out of his car, or they're talking outside, and he just looks up, and he's like,
Oh yeah.
it's like it's sunny again.
The weather is, yeah, and Buffy's like, yeah, sunny, nice every day.
And he just hates it.
And he hates it.
He's more used to what it's like here, which is just rainy and overcast, which is hilarious. It's almost like a missable joke because it's so British of him to say it or to notice it.
Well, didn't Joss go to school in the UK for a while?
Yeah, well, he's definitely got an angle for it as well. And another thing it gave them was they could use swear words that they otherwise wouldn't have been able to because, like, American censors didn't even know what some of the words meant. As silly as that sounds, but you know, wanker and tosser and stuff get through, which is great.
That's but
no, it was a fucking shock to me, dude, that Wesley and Spike, two of my 3 favorite characters in the entire show, neither actor was British. I was like,
so
excuse
I was
me?
going to ask you about that. So especially Spike's, because he said he basically based it on Anthony Stewart Head, or at least learned from it, like, and got a lot of suggestions from it.
Spike's, you can tell. When I was a kid, I didn't really, because I was just whatever. But as an adult, I was like, you can hear him slipping the accent differently and pronouncing words slightly differently as he goes. He's a really good effort, but he's a little bit off. Alexis Denisof, I never would have been able to guess he wasn't British. Is such a fucking good performance.
I thought he was British forever. I did.
I thought so. I would have said he had to have been because of how well he does it, but nah, he's American.
No, and I saw the behind the scenes, and I'm like, wait a minute, where's his accent? What's going on?
It's horrifying.
Is he going method like Christian Bale? Remember Christian Bale would do interviews with an American accent during Batman? It was weird. So it was weird. And not everyone, but he did some that straight up go look it up. He does them in American accent. It's like, what are you doing, dude? But yeah, this opening pilot does what it establish everybody's character. You've got they're moving in from LA. Buffy and her mom, or the boxes are still there, and she's constantly, can we not get kicked out of school this time? You burned down the gym. Principal Flutie gives her that little talk of like, you know what, the past is the past here. We're not gonna. And then he looks at the record and goes, "You burned down the gym." And he ripped up her record and then starts taping it back together.
To me, that felt very like, this is really, it's funny because you assume, right, that they did this because the film existed, so they want to get further so that people know it, they can go on, but simultaneously it kind of makes the pilot have an energy of, we catch up on our history while pushing the plot forward, and it makes for what is nearly a movie amount of story in one episode, which is always like a good plan anyway. But no, I do like the we're ripping up your past record, it's a clean slate, and then reads it, he's like, so then sellotapes as he's talking to her about her future. That's really fucking funny.
It is. And God, how many times have I watched this? And Angel shows up very early, like from the get-go. He shows up.
Not only does he's kind of, it's complex to consider. He's not, I don't even know if this is controversial to say, but I think it's true. He's not a good guy yet.
No.
He's still working on that.
He's still working it. That's why he disappears. And they kind of explain that later on, which is really cool. So his mysterious, he would come in, his mysterious disappearances were him working out whether he's going to stay good or bad, pretty much, which makes him the best character in both shows, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, Angel's show is pretty fucking good.
It's pretty good. Can't wait to cover that one. But we learned about the bronze, the library, of course, that, oh my God, what's the high school? Torrance High School, right, chat? Torrance High. You can go there today, and the front of Torrance High School looks the same.
Yeah, and the library is like the hub world for seasons 1, 2, and 3.
It is. I kind of missed it when it was gone.
No, I really like the library set. It's cool. But season 4 is like Giles is a house apartment place, and then 5, 6, 7 is all Buffy's house. Oh, it's Buffy's house in the magic box. That's where they end up going a lot.
Yep.
6 and 7, I guess. Yeah.
I have stood inside the magic box, MauLer,
I gotta visit that someday.
on the lot. Yeah, it won't look like it at all. It's kind of
No.
disappointing. It's just a big empty shell, but got to stand in it, and that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. On
Yeah.
the Paramount lot. It's on the Paramount lot, which who knows if that'll even be around anymore. Also, if you're a Buffy collector out there, the library playset from Diamond Select Toys, very hard to find, really expensive. I think it's going for anywhere of, if you have it in box, anywhere from $500 to $1,000 to $1,000. And it's got little details. It's got like little plants, and then I think it's got like little, really innocuous fucking props in there. It's books, and it's a table, and it's a bottle. It's like stupid shit, but it's really good detailed playset. I think it's even got a wastebasket. But yeah, really hard to find.
Her visions. It's kind of funny because they play right after the intro, which is already like a season trailer, like how it works,
Yep.
It's like 2 season trailers back to back to make sure it's like, please give us a chance, please. Like,
and they make sure to reference it too. He's all, at least you're not having the dreams, and she's like, yeah. I am. So Buffy doesn't want to be the Slayer. She wants to, it's running theme,
have a normal life.
She wants to have a normal life. She feels like after LA, her work is kind of done. But then she went to the Hellmouth, which really levels up the show a lot, because you couldn't have just made it about vampires. And some of my favorite episodes are the ones that don't really even center around vampires. And you got your monster of the week. And I think this season really, it gets better as it goes along. It's the rougher episodes are early on, and then I think towards the end, I think it gets way better. I don't know what you think, but I definitely like the later
episodes. It's like a scatter for me, because I think the first episode is really strong. I think The Harvest is okay as like a follow-up, the second half. And then The Witch, I think, is possibly my favorite episode of the season, which we can go over if needs be. And then we drop off into Praying Mantis, Never Kiss a Boy on the First Day. I didn't think it was very good. A lot of them I'm kind of like, eh. But then Invisible Girl and the finale, the finale has a scene in it that is so good it almost doesn't belong in season 1. And I always feel that when I rewatch it. It's where she finds out her prophecy, and it's like, man,
yeah,
this is like later season content. This is really good.
No, you see, like, when Giles finds out, when he first finds out, way before he tells Buffy, it just rattles him, and he's like, oh, that is Anthony Stewart Head carrying the show. So yeah, Harvest and Witch, Welcome to the Hellmouth and Harvest, basically a 2-parter episode where all you need to know is Willow loves Xander, Xander loves Buffy, Angel is mysterious guy. Anthony Stewart Head is still trying to figure out the Watcher thing. Buffy doesn't want to do this stuff.
It's kind of funny because like they make a joke about this, I want to say in a later season, but referring to Giles as like crusty old Alfred. Like it's kind of like that archetype. He is basically Buffy's Alfred to an extent, but then Watcher means he gets to do a couple of other things. And honestly, one of the underrated parts of season 1 that I didn't even think I would have grasped first time around, and a couple of others, is Giles is like, you would assume, a settled, experienced, borderline even veteran Watcher, knows his shit back to front. He's going to help these kids get through what they need to, and he's going to guide Buffy. But because they have more blatant contrasting arcs, I would say, comparing their now to their future, it's very obvious where Buffy, Xander, Willow, especially Willow, I would say, like, holy shit, watching her in season 1 is, compared to season 6, for example, is what I'm saying. It's just like, damn. The way she dresses, behaves, the power she has, it's just like they develop her so slowly, but it's crazy to look back. But Giles, you might think, you'd say maybe he's somewhat static in a positive way. He's a really well done character sort of thing. But I was like, the more I think about the show, the more I realize, like, you could consider this a bit of headcanon to an extent, but it seems to me, because he says part of his history, and we know from like the Ripper stuff and how much of a rebellious kind of guy he was. He did not want to be a Watcher. He even kind of says that, and then he sort of falls into it. If you remember, there's a reference in season 3 where there's like a Watcher's retreat, and that he never gets invited. There's a thing, an implication that he's not well liked by the Watchers, and so you might be like, well, wait, why would they send him to be the current Slayer's Watcher? And part of it, and I don't think this is super great throughout the show, unfortunately, they need to do more work with the Watchers Council, but the implication is the Watchers Council don't care that much about the Slayer. They just don't seem to get that involved. They run their own shit, and they don't seem to like the Slayer that much either. So the implication I get, and I think this adds a bit of fun to season 1, is they sent Giles as almost like a whatever, send him, our like useless Watcher or our new Watcher. And if you kind of check it out in season 1, Giles is learning. He doesn't really know what he's doing, but he tries to come across as though he does to the team. And something I noticed this time around, which I feel like I've never noticed before, is there's like 3 separate big events that happen, and in the middle of them, he asks Buffy what she thinks he should do.
Yeah.
As in, she's like sending, Xander, go and talk to them, blah, blah, Willow, go surf the net to find this. So that he's like, what should I do? And it's a role that he moves into better, is his leadership and sort of the logical cut through of a thing. But he doesn't really know perfectly how to be a Watcher yet. And I actually think that comes to a really nice head at the final episode, where he basically can't deal with the fact that she's going to die. And so he's like, I'll go fight the Master for you, which is totally not what he's supposed to do, but he wants to, because he's in only 12 episodes already wrestling between the role as Watcher versus the role as father, which is already starting to develop by then.
Yep.
And it's great, and he plays it perfectly.
He does, and I don't think that's headcanon. You definitely get the vibe that he's new. That
he's not just new, but also that they sent him because they didn't care about this role. It was just like, you go do it, and he takes it very, very seriously.
He does. And so at the end of, we just get through the first 2 episodes. And we're still figuring it out. So we'll get far more detailed as we get into more complex seasons, for sure. But this is just Monster of the Week. But I forgot the actor's name, but the big vampire at the end, who you thought would probably be throughout the entire series, gets offed, by Buffy.
Luke, you talking about him?
Yeah. And it shows you that they kill a lot, and side characters get killed. So like people are getting killed early on. So it gives you, there's a large amount of stakes already in the pilot. Like people aren't safe, people are going to die a lot, and it becomes a thing and kind of funny.
They give you clues as to, because the world building is possibly the weakest part in the specific sense of, how is this not getting a lot of attention? Children are dying every day at this school. and you have to go with, well, you get Principal Snyder does arrive in this season, and there's an implication that he's doing everything he can to minimize everything. There's a fucking great line where he says, it cuts from someone asking, is the kid who just got attacked, is he? And it cuts to him going, dead? No, you ghouls. No, of course not. He's not dead. There are no dead children in this school this week.
It's
such a funny line. But at the same time, of course, by the time you hit season 3, you find out that that Snyder has been placed by the mayor, and that their goal is to cover up most of anything that happens in Sunnydale. And it's like, all right. it's like, do I buy that? It's better than nothing, I suppose.
They had to explain it somehow, right?
Yeah, but they kind of need to do with all the deaths.
They do. So, The Witch, you said you like this episode. I think it's good too.
One of the highlights for me is it's sort of you see the transition of Giles getting very, very invested in this when he's like shouting, because Buffy nearly dies. She's about like minutes away from just dying in this episode. It's kind of crazy. And Giles gets very invested in trying to solve this problem. Broadly, it's the first episode to me that they have their themes, and they were pretty well threaded in, right? The whole your next generation, the parents kind of trying to guide them on their dreams versus seeing a little version of themselves they can make better at their own failed dreams, and how that affects the dynamics and stuff. And then you have the comparison of Buffy with her mum, and the sort of relationship is still struggling. Versus Amy and her mum, which is more of a literal via witchcraft. She takes the life of her daughter to live it better than her. Is I think that's really interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on there, considering it's just a season 1 episode.
It's a third episode of season 1. It's about joining the cheerleader squad again. And they set it up at the end of Harvest. At the end, they go, well, I'm paraphrasing, but they say, well, we're going to face other things besides vampires. So they go right to a witch. The thought of a mom living her life through her teenage daughter, it's pretty believable, to be honest with you.
I buy this completely. Yeah. And I even like what, how they twig onto it. With like she's eating cookies and trying to hide them and stuff, and it's all like weird behavior. And then the obvious thing is that she's using spells that she shouldn't have access to, or her mum is somehow puppeting or whatever. But like it's a fun little twist of like, oh, they switched bodies. Oh, and she's like living her failed dreams within her daughter because she's like, oh, that's kind of, and then just casting casual spells to set people on fire or blind them in the episode. It's all fun bits and bobs for spell casting.
It is. And the ending, she gets trapped in the trophy, which is horrible. But
that was grim, man.
Yeah, that was really grim. And it was just a spell that ricocheted back at her. But and then she comes back later. They revisit this character later on.
They didn't have to, but they do.
They do, and then they revisit her again long after.
She pops up in season 2 and 3, and then something happens that we don't see her again, at least in her human form, until season 6.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
The witch is followed by Teacher's Pet. Teacher's Pet starts out with a teacher being nice to Buffy, and she's like, oh wow, a teacher's nice to me. And he loses his head.
Oh man, you remind me. Yeah, his dialogue's really good.
Yep.
But like, he only gets like 5 lines or whatever. But I remember being like, oh, I forgot. Like, this guy's cool, and then he just dies. You're like, yeah. You know what that is, right? They were like, so this guy's gonna get killed as our opening. So they're like, and then it's like, well, we better get people to like him, otherwise he's just guy who dies. But then they made him too likable. He's like a really supportive teacher, and he tells her stuff that's kind of awesome. And he says, let's make the principal eat that permanent record by trying to encourage her to be good, be great, and that noticing she's got a chance of actually like excelling in school. And they just eat him. It's like, oh.
Yeah. And they don't even like clean up his stuff. I mean, the poor guy's glasses just stayed there. They like nobody bothered to pick him up the whole time. Yeah. They were just sitting on the desk.
And they try to create a bit of a through line of Buffy finding them, and then she puts them down at the end of the episode. It's like sad that he died. It's like, yeah, a lot of people die at this fucking place. Like, it's kind of insane.
The funniest part was I like the concept of a vampire fearing another thing. That was cool. But when she's in praying mantis form and she has Xander and the other kid whose name I can't remember in the cage, and she's coming to attack them, and they have no budget for the show, and it's this paper mache.
It's rough.
It's so bad.
Every time I get to that episode, I have like flashbacks of the first person I ever showed this show who really was like, I don't want to watch this shit, man. And I was like, I swear, I remember him seeing that. He was like, dude. I was like, I know. It gets better, I swear.
Dude, they did better in Doctor Who in the 70s with that stuff. And it's pretty bad. But and they never revisit the sack of eggs at the end.
They don't revisit that, and they don't revisit the invisible girl army that the government are building.
Oh, I know. Which would have been cool.
Yeah. But oh well. No. Probably better they didn't revisit the praying mantis, I guess. Would have been funny for them to give it another try, try and make it work.
So yeah, there's Teacher's Pet, never kill a boy on a first date, which wasn't my favorite either.
No, not a fan of that one either. It's kind of, what's his name? The kid in that that she's dating
or something.
Owen,
like yeah.
He's really weird, man.
He never comes back. So
nope.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with death, and you're like, okay.
And we'll never see him again.
That's the Anointed One episode where they launched the character of the Anointed One, and this is what that's actually a good episode as well. For Giles insists as the Watcher that she will come to this thing that he's figured out the prophecy for, blah blah blah, and then it turns out he probably got it wrong, maybe. But then you realize, no, I didn't. It was just the wrong place or whatever. So it's like, so we need now the mission to go to the cemetery or the mortuary or whatever. And Buffy's like, no, I have a life. And he does essentially soften on that to the point of being like, all right, I'll do it myself. And it's kind of what I mean about Giles is going through a bunch of stuff in this season of trying to balance how he's supposed to conduct this job. And it's super interesting because if you watch all of this unfold and what he learns, and then you watch Wesley come in season 3, who conducts the job by the book, and how much worse it is. Because if Giles is like the runt of the litter for Watchers, and Buffy's already kind of like a rebellious Slayer, they end up lasting longer than any Watcher Slayer duo that we know of in this history. How is that possible? It's like, oh yeah, because like the whole idea of balance, right? The discipline versus the sort of indulgence in more I guess personal aspects, and then the fact that they often say the only reason Buffy's alive is because she has friends. A lot of Slayers don't. And it's just cool to watch it unfold because, yeah, Wesley's style doesn't work at all, but Giles does. And, we'll get there maybe in a few years, but episode in season 3 where Giles basically has to choose being a Watcher or being, like, essentially her dad. And it's, like, one of my favorites, that one, where he takes her powers from her, if you remember.
Yep.
And he gets fired for it as well because he
does.
doesn't commit to being a Watcher. He can't, and it's just really good shit.
Yeah, and his character arc towards the end, especially when he kills that kid, that was good stuff. But for this, you're right.
Season 5 or
season 5.
Oh yeah, that shit's like one of the best Giles things ever.
Yep. So the one thing, this is a stupid thing, but it bothered me with the Anointed One being on a bus. They're not on a full-size bus. So they're not like on a charter bus or a bus you would take from city to city. You can see the budget in this one. They have some like little bus that you would shuttle people from an airport to a hotel. So that always bugged me. It's a stupid thing, but it bugged me. And it was like a really dark bus, like no lighting at all in it. And then you have the religious guy kind of going off. Dude,
his dialogue. Pork and beans.
Pork and beans.
Yeah, and he's just rambling about some shit. Also, he's like a serial killer or something.
Yeah, who's just riding a bus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just happens to be that way.
Had a couple of warrants for his arrest and everything. Yeah, so Owen he was the Buffy was after him. And Cordelia was after him. And by the end, he was just like, Buffy breaks up with him because he just wants to be with her for the thrill, for the danger. And she's like, I want you to like me for me. And it was just like over like that. And then we never saw him again. That's a concept you could have probably revisited, but they probably thought it didn't work. So why bother?
But yeah, on that front, right? Like, so trying to make that work. I think in their intro scene, she doesn't want to do the sort of Slayer job sort of thing, and he says a Slayer slays a Watcher, and she says watches, and he goes yes, no, which is a sort of. There's lots of little interactions like that in this season where I'm just like, man, this is still witty to an extent. It's still the least witty of the 12 seasons, I guess you'd say, but. Like the when Giles is like, you gotta think like spiritually, you gotta detect the vampires with your senses. You are the Slayer, you have these powers, like reach out, think. And then she goes, that guy, and he's like, what, how do you know? And then she's like, look what he's wearing. It's so the comparison, right, of like the mystical, spiritual, wise, teacher versus the girl from California in the 90s who can notice this shit for other reasons. But I love when he's like, it's dated, and she goes, it's carbon dated.
Yes.
It's like, it is clever.
Melissa liked that one too. How she identified the vampire. Yeah, that was. Is there some special way? It's like, no, look at his clothes.
And do you remember when she attacked Cordelia? And she says, "What is your childhood trauma?"
Yep.
Which, yeah, they have some fun with Cordelia with different things in the season.
Yeah, it takes her a while to even become part of the gang or even find out. And then she pulls out like old 97 cell phone. And she's, I need to call everybody I know after she gets attacked.
She tries to get Buffy in on like the, I guess the Mean Girls type sort of thing, but Buffy gravitates toward the losers types, and so that causes issues. But whereas I think any other show might have made Cordelia the standard antagonistic sort of Buffy's life not lived type of thing, she ends up being more complicated, and that mainly comes in the Invisible Girl episode.
Yeah,
where it's like, oh shit, there's more going on there. All right, fair enough. But she's still kind of funny, and she's got her own wit to it. That's one of the things about this show that I'm going to defend till the day I'm dead. When people are like, your big problem is all the characters are witty. It's like, one, that's a good problem to have. Two, the way that they're intelligent is all different. Giles's wit is not the same as Buffy's, is not the same as Cordy's, is not the same as Xander's. They all have different like layers of intelligence that come in different ways. Because Xander, he'll have some. What was the they're asking what how someone got beaten with a bat, and like was it a ghost? Was it that? And then Xander goes, maybe it was a vampire bat. And they're all like unimpressed. And he goes, no, okay, yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And I was just like, yeah, that was clever.
That was good.
But meanwhile, he's also the one that's like the stupidest in comparison to Giles when it comes to like logical things. Xander takes longer to pick things up, or he fucks around with it. But he's also smart when it comes to jokes, and it's good stuff because it always implies, and they back with the history that Xander developed that because of his home life, right? It's how he copes with everything. Versus Giles, who's like well-read, educated sort of thing.
Yep.
I always thought they did a really good job. I mean, it's the reason why I assume you and both I love this show is the character consistency, the way they build them.
Yeah, and it carries you through pretty bad episodes, even like The Pack, or it's not terrible, but it well, I mean, how Principal Flutie goes out is pretty horrific.
That's rough, man. And you can tell they didn't put Xander in that scene because they knew it's like, yeah, I don't think he comes back if we have him eat someone, so we'll not have him do that.
And they didn't deal with those kids later, so the principal gets eaten. These kids get possessed by a hyena god or demon. Yeah. And they eat the principal. So they left Xander out of that scene so he could be redeemable. He still ate the pig. He still ate the
a big world building error actually I wanted to bring up. The Joss Whedon clearly hates guns.
Yeah, okay. I was going to bring that up. Yes.
It fucks over the show because this comes up several times and it's just stupid. Like, number one, we're dealing with vampires. Let's call the police. And Giles says, of course, they would believe us. And then someone else, Buffy, I think, says, and they would just bring guns. It's like, yeah, guns work amazingly on vampires, actually. Like, we see that in the show later on as it progresses. And it's like, it's really awkward because they have to move around the fact that he clearly doesn't like guns generally, whereas they'd be super useful. And the other problem is a gun is the cause of like a major season 6 payoff.
It is. And Darla, like, I think a good weapon against a vampire slayer would be a gun. Like, so vampires using the guns makes a lot of sense, and she uses a gun.
Well, remember when
a couple of guns.
Punished Wesley, he's using guns all the time because they're effective. I'm sorry, they just are. So yeah, there's another issue for them because they're always using medieval weaponry, both against their enemies, and their enemies often have them. And it's just like, man, you might want to get it. They'll have a crossbow, but they won't do guns.
Yeah. You just, it's something you have to. It's like when you watch Cobra Kai, and you just got to accept nobody's calling the police. There's no police in this world. and kids can die all the time at high schools, and parents will just let their kids continue to go to that high school. And they'll still have dances and talent competitions. So yeah, the pack pretty awful. Except for the death of Principal Flutie.
Though, so again, on the front of like the episodes that are bad, because I usually hit them on the like the plot is kind of just rubbish and it's not enough interesting world stuff to keep you going. But there are still some character things. The pack, you get your they kind of bank on the threes. I hate to refer to it this way because I usually hate this in every form, but there is kind of a love triangle, sort of. Like you said, Xander likes Buffy, Willow likes Xander. That's just something that they're working with this season, and it's good enough to keep you settled until they get into way more stuff for these characters as the seasons progress. Like season 2 bumps everything up, but in this episode there's a lot of references to the state of those relationships because he's possessed by a hyena, and that makes him want to be a bit more honest about certain things. So they work with that, and there's some scenes that are pretty fun for the different characters, some fun lines and everything, but it's just in between these scenes that are really awkward and clunky and weird about people pretending to be hyenas. You just don't like
when they're for one, when they're laughing and they're all sleeping, and it's like the woman with her baby comes up on them, and you're like, oh my god, are they gonna? For one, it's a credit to the show. It's like, are they gonna have her eat the mom and the baby? Right. They didn't go there, but they could have. And then they went back to sleep. It was just kind of dumb. And then, well, the zookeeper they got, like, couldn't have been like, they found the frumpiest dude on the planet. And then he's like got all this like tribal makeup on, and it's like, it looks like your auto mechanic. And maybe that was the point, but it's what are we doing?
And then he knocks out Giles for like the 5th time already in that season. Is that poor man's head? He's they do make like a meta reference to that.
Giles has CTE, like, for sure. He's got yeah.
It's so many times he needs to be involved for like a certain thing needs to happen, but he also needs to leave the scene for a moment, so they always knock him out. One of my favorite ones. Do you remember in, I want to say season 3, where they need to tranquilize, it's like Oz or it's another werewolf or something, but they accidentally shoot Giles because he's in front of them because they move the desk, and he just turns around, looks, he goes, "Oh, bloody priceless."
So at the end of the pack, Xander tries to play off that he doesn't remember, like, almost essaying Buffy and eating the pig, and then Giles calls him out on it and goes, I didn't read anything about this possession having you lose your memory. So he's all, I remember everybody.
Which
everybody
is especially awkward for the kids who ate a person. But
that they don't.
We'll see him again.
Yeah. Wonder if they went to counseling or anything.
About Giles, by the way, the witch episode is something that I remember standing out, because this, you could treat it as something that gets retconned, or it's more of an interesting element of the character. So he does the spell that counters the witch's all of her shit. And at the end, he's like, that was my first casting. I hope it all went well. And it's like, well, we know that's not true, right? Because he does a bunch of spell shit in his past we find out about. And if you watch it, on one hand, it could be that that's how they'd written it at the time and they weren't sure. But if you watch it and really think about him lying, the body language and his facial expressions totally match that he's lying. And I just like to think that, he doesn't want to talk about how he used to, fuck with spells for the sake of getting high and shit. He's just like, nah, I don't know. I don't know much about spellcraft. Not at all.
Not at all. Ripper.
Of course, that comes in season 2. I think that's the Dark Age, that episode, which is, oh man, learning anything about Ripper past is always just like, yes, please, more. Like,
almost had that show. We almost had that show. We were so close. So the pack is followed up by Angel, when we find out. So before all this, we don't know that Angel's a vampire.
No, and it's weird to watch it with that. You just assume that's like half the course with the whole show. And you're like, oh no, yeah, that's actually a reveal.
It's a big reveal that he's a vampire, and they pretty quickly tell you, like, the curse. they go through all that. Darla sets up Buffy, or Darla sets up Angel to look like he bit Joyce, and that was pretty clever. And this is the episode where Darla like pulls out 2 guns.
A really weird element that always distracts me is when she first sees that he's a vampire, she screams, and it sounds, I don't know if it's her scream or not, but that same scream sound effect is played when Joyce is attacked, as if Joyce is screaming. It's the same one for Buffy and Joyce. I've always just been like, that's weird. You couldn't get another scream, I guess. No stock screams or anything. I don't know.
No.
And so either it's Sarah Michelle Gellar and that they repeated it for Joyce, or it's Joyce's scream, they repeated it for Sarah Michelle Gellar. I don't know. All I do know is that Buffy doesn't scream very much in this whole show. So I always wondered if it's because it's not the easiest thing to do and sound good. And I wondered if maybe she doesn't like screaming, or if it's just because typically Buffy doesn't find herself screaming that much. But I don't know.
Maybe it's a creative choice. I didn't think about that.
You're on the front of Xander being witty, by the way, because I've got notes and I'm just remembering some of these lines where he's talking to one of the guys who's more like a jock type, and he says, "Girls have got to have something special to work for me." And Xander says, "Like a lobotomy." It's these are the kinds of jokes I was going to say. It's like it's a specific kind of intelligence, and watching these episodes, right, you get that element of him, and you also get that he will burst in to save anyone at any time. Xander's like, it's one of the main things I always use to defend him every single time it comes up. It's fucking baffling to be like, this character is like the most hated on this show by the Buffy fandom. I don't know if everyone knows this.
Yes, he is.
He's funny. He's courageous. His big sin is that he has a crush on Buffy and it doesn't work out for him.
Yep. And he doesn't take it very well at first. So what?
Honestly, though, of all the, like, he could have taken it a lot worse. He made like a rude joke and then apologized. It's really not that bad.
So, no, it's not. But yeah, he gets the fan base goes after him pretty hard.
Yeah, obviously the fan base, Buffy fandom as a whole, they'll hit like Dawn, Connor, Riley, those 3. But like Xander is usually the one that's hit. They always make videos about it. Xander's actually the worst character in Buffy. Worst character in television.
I recall at the time people like Xander for the most part. So maybe that's maybe that's some lore. I was trying to see who are the main writers for season 1. Joss, of course, Matt Kane and Joe Rankemeyer. It's not a lot that hang on, here they are. Mainly Joss. Story editor is Dean Batali. But yeah, not a lot of I don't know if these names stick through the entire series. It feels like this was probably just mostly Joss.
Well, and it's like this was just a rushed project they probably wrote as they were filming this, I'd imagine. A lot of stuff happening really, really quickly.
Yeah. It had to take over Savannah. I don't remember that show at all.
I don't know what that show
and that was at a time where you could still remember kind of every show that was on the air because there wasn't much.
Don't
remember Savannah.
On the British stuff, if you remember the it's that weird guy you said, Owen, I think he's reading is Emily Dickinson he's reading, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he said Giles says, yeah, she's quite a good poet for and Buffy says, a girl. Then he goes, an American.
An American. That was funny.
That's when you get the Clark Kent has a job, I just want a date.
Yep.
Like, another
one. We got Human Torch. You get Spidey Sense reference. So Angel episode, we find out about Angel. Then there's I, Robot, You, Jane.
Well, I don't know if you want to talk more about the Angel revelations. I would say it's kind of weird in retrospect because he becomes so much more interesting.
Yes.
But you were saying like he's kind of already the big pull-in of it's a monster with a soul. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know exactly. Because obviously the vampires in this show are already hyper, super duper evil. I was saying earlier, they're kind of like, "Rawr, I'm gonna get you, rawr," but it's like he's more tortured because he's got a conscience. You're like, what does that mean? And then his decision in that episode, right, is between Darla and Buffy, and he kills her, which is crazy in retrospect. When you find out all of their history and then you watch this season again, you're like, oh god, that's that. Yeah, that's there you go.
Yeah, that's one thing they definitely retconned a lot. So, especially when they talk about later on when they get into the relationship of sire and siree,
And
and
grandsires.
and yeah, and the dynamics with them and how much power Darla did have over him. And yeah, she's just kind of a
Well,
side
and
character in this, you know.
again, not looking to spoil, but we just have to mention this. Like they just outright resurrect her and give her a new story again, and it's
Yep.
not one. I think it's a good story, and it's so insane to say this. I think it's a good resurrection as well, with mechanically what happens if you remember, like
Yes.
what it means, how Wolfram and Hart manipulate it. It's like they get so much good shit out of that, and it makes it so that by the time she's not in the show anymore, you're like, wow, what a character. Then you go back and watch season 1, and
The whole concept of Wolfram and Hart is fucking awesome. Everything
Yeah, I
about
love
that
it.
is awesome.
Referenced in Age of Ultron, by the way.
Are
You
they?
know,
Oh, wait a minute.
it's a really niche Easter egg, but it's cool. It's in Thor's Nightmare. There's like 3 archways, and there's a wolf, a ram, and a heart.
Oh, okay. So, what's the Avengers reference in season 1? Did you catch it with Darla and Angel?
There's an Avengers reference?
Budapest.
Oh, that's a reference? That's just a place.
Well, it's just a place, but it's a Budapest.
Oh, I guess
reference.
you're saying like the same reason he wrote that line is why he wrote that in Avengers.
Yes. I think that's definitely referring to himself. Joss Whedon wasn't afraid to do that at all.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, Cap punching the punching bag. Buffy does that in The Gift. Exact same way.
Oh, that's right. I did not know that.
Also, yeah, you remember when he said the last time I saw you, it was he said it was kimonos. They stick to that. We see that flashback eventually. The last time they see each other before season 1. It's when Angel's still not sure if he wants to be a bad guy, which is why I really appreciate the work they put in, because it's a little bit, and I don't mean this critically, it's tough, man. It's like, so we've got all this history we can tell of Angel, and a huge part of it is with his soul, but he can't be a hero. Like, you're not allowed to, because the arc happens later for him being a hero, so you're going to have to work with other stories, and they do. They tell a lot of stories where it's a lot more complicated, where he tries to be a vampire again, where he's trying to just be a neutral person, and it doesn't really work out. Where you know, like the fucking episode in the is the 50s, right? Or in the hotel.
Yeah.
Are you now or have you ever been? That episode's so good.
It's really good.
And just the foreshadowing of Angel's sort of vengefulness and how he's absolutely not a hero at that point. He's just trying to be alive. That's all.
And I mean, maybe it's, I don't know this for sure, but Joss Whedon probably had an experience with somebody in his life being an alcoholic, maybe his dad, I can't remember. But the whole concept of Angel not being able to be happy, you know, like that's the curse, is if you achieve happiness, and how that how happiness, joy, or can lead to relapse as much as crisis, or achieving a goal. I don't want to call it joy, achieving a goal, and it goes to your head. Like, there's there's a lot of things that can lead to relapse, but it's not always crisis with an alcoholic or an addict. It can be something really good, and they start getting full of themselves. And I think whether you meant to do that or not, it's really fucking good.
Well, and
it's really good.
A curse that's supposed to deal as much damage to you as possible, and if that damage stops, then the curse lifts automatically. It's just like, oh, that's an idea.
Yeah.
And the fact that it connects then into a soul for a creature without one, thus having all the mechanical consequences, it's just like, this is yeah. And that's what Buffy is. I feel like it starts out with very rocky, rumbly, bubbly world building based on a bunch of different ideas from monsters in other fiction. And you're like, But the vampire stuff, man, they carve that out very specifically, and by the end of the show, it's fascinating the way the vampires work in this.
Yeah, and they start that
Holy
really,
shit.
just explaining through Angel, like, oh yeah, the body's just a shell. Like the demon gets the body and but they don't get the soul.
Yeah.
Right. So I Robot You, Jane, Moloch, Miss
Dude,
Calendar.
the makeup on that guy in the beginning is so good.
It's so good. And then they
It's
go
like,
to
what the hell?
and then they
Man,
turn him into the Terminator at the end.
This episode to me is almost, maybe unfairly, the personification of this season. It's like, I like the idea. I like a lot of the features you have here. I like some of the acting in here. There's even a scene that I think is actually remarkably good. Man, this is just bad.
He looks like a cyber demon, chat. You're right. He looks like a cyber demon. And his voice changes a bunch. and Miss Calendar's, this is where Miss Calendar gets introduced, right? And
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Which is why you can't skip this. You got to see that. You got to see her.
You have to see it. Well, yeah, because she's really important. But her introduction is pretty cringe. And she's like, I'm a techno pagan.
I don't know if they ever say techno pagan again, and thank fuck if they don't. Jesus, never say that again.
I'm like, if there was a 90s saying, that is fucking it. I'm a techno pagan.
This is the thing. It's such an awesome era for media because of how experimental, crazy, transforming everything is in terms of tech and just abilities to make stuff. But you simultaneously get all of these mistakes of like, this episode is built to be like, hey, we're ahead of the curve. We know what's going on with technology. And you're like, you didn't. you had no idea what's going on.
No, Giles, hates computers. And she's like, well, it's the digital age and we surf the net. I surfed the net last night, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, you're definitely in a position like, please stop. The dude, I forget the name of the character, but that one guy just keeps saying extremely cringe lines. Sorry. The printed word is. He's like, the printed word is obsolete. The only reality is virtual. If you're not jacked in, you're not alive. It's like, stop, please stop.
Oh, that's how long they've been trying to make virtual reality a thing, by the way.
No, yeah. And I love Giles in this episode, but I love him in every episode, so whatever. But when she's like, more words have been, I guess, sent over the internet than were spoken this year or something like that. And then Giles just goes, that is a fact I regard with genuine horror.
Yeah. Yes.
It's just, it's book bad.
And he's not wrong. And some of when he's like, oh, we'll be more connected than ever. And this is, he just goes into like how horrifying things are. And that was nothing. There was no social media back then. The internet was such a new Wild West place back in 97.
Yeah, they keep advocating to him, there's a new world, new reality, and this is going to be amazing. And he says, this is what I mean about this episode, man. It's so... He says a new reality in which people can be manipulated by technology.
Yes.
I was just like, oh my god. Like, it's so true.
Yeah. It's like,
that's all that's happened, basically.
So we meet Miss Calendar and so Willow gets seduced by Moloch.
Yes, she gets catfished. In a more scary horror TV show way. Again, very Goosebumps. I would happily concede this season. It's like, because you could tell they've got those little bits of real life mixed in with, because isn't it Xander that says like, what if I claim to be? I could claim to be a high school student, and Buffy's like, you are. Says, well, I could also say I'm an elderly Dutch woman, and who's to say I'm not in the elderly Dutch woman chat room?
Yep.
Which again is like, yes, all true, fair. This is what I mean about this episode. It's like, yep, they've called that out, and that's true somewhat at the time, but also super true in the future. And then randomly they'll say something, you'll just be like, oh, I never want to hear that again. Never let me hear that again.
Please don't ever say techno pagan again.
Do you remember because there's different teachers in this school that I think you only ever see once all the time. And do you remember the dodgeball teacher?
Oh yeah.
They have their game, which by the way they shoot that scene, it's like no dialogue and the sound effects are being played up, and there's like it's very unique. They don't really do it again. And then it's like there's this tone of everyone is treating each other horribly and it's rough and we don't know what's going on. Then it just cuts to the teacher and he goes, God, I love this
Love this
sport.
game. I love this
Yeah.
sport.
I
Yeah,
love it. It's brutal.
and there's like occasional shots that are really good. I can't remember what episode it was in, but you see Buffy walking through a tunnel, and then they pan, and it pans to
The library?
the library where the cards, the
Yeah,
case
yeah,
where
yeah. I remember that one.
that is I'm like, whoa, that was actually a really good transition. We don't get that very much.
We'll probably talk about when we get there, but the finale has a bunch of lighting moments where I was like for the master when she first goes down. I was like, damn, that was pretty cool. There's some stuff going on here. There's more eye candy in this season than I hate to say it, but a lot of shows that come out these days. All right, I'm just saying, it's like whereas everything looks goopy. I don't know if you saw the new Mando trailer or clip came out, and like I didn't watch the whole thing. I turned it on. I was like, ugh. I was immediately struck by how ugly everything looked.
I watched it earlier today. It was awful. But the one thing they get right is dusty books. They are really good with the dusty books and the candles, and the props department was pretty on task with this one. They did a good job.
Mm-hmm. On the
effects, not so much, but it was 97. They had no money.
That same dude who's talking to his robot overlord, which by the way I was calling him Ultron throughout the whole movie because this felt like proto Ultron attempts sort of thing, and they talk about what to do with Buffy, and he says kill her like in the robot voice, and then it just cuts to the dude and he goes party. Okay.
So after this though, I think
just one more mention then. So this episode shocks me every time we get to the scene where one of his zealots is supposed to kill Buffy, but he saves her instead. He runs into a room and he's basically saying like, I can't do this. I'm sorry. Like this is too far. Buffy's an innocent girl. I can't do it. And Ultron is just like, hey, you have to. You love me. I love you. Like, we got to do this. And he keeps saying, no, absolutely not. Enough is enough. And then there's a pause. And then it just brings up like a notepad and starts typing his suicide note.
Yep.
I thought that shit was creepy as fuck. I was like, that's one of the most effective like horror bits in this whole season. And it's just reading it out in this like robotic voice, and he's backing up, and then you can just see the guy behind him ready to kill him. I was like, damn.
And they find him hanging.
It's such a goofball episode that's really bad in a lot of ways, but that one scene, I was like, that could just be in a really good episode of TV.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what carries the show, is there's still moments even within like not very good episodes. But I think the episodes get better at the end. I'm not going to say everyone's perfect, but with the puppet show, Nightmares, and Out of Mind, Out of Sight, I thought those God, what is this actress's name? She's in a bunch of stuff too. Is it it's not, hang on.
Who are we talking about?
The girl in Out of Sight, Out of Mind, the invisible girl.
Oh, I've seen her name a million times and I always forget it because she's in a bunch of stuff. She's in The Faculty. She's like a cop she was in Gone Girl. She's in a bunch of stuff. I know what you're talking about. Clea Duvall. That's it.
There it is. Yeah. She was around a lot in the 90s and later on too.
Yeah, she joined up.
I like the puppet show. I like that one.
You like Sid, don't you?
I do. I like Sid.
It's so weird. I don't care for the plot of the puppet show at all, but there's some really funny fucking jokes in that episode. Opening with Cordelia singing horribly and then just cutting to the 1,000-yard stare of Giles watching it. That shit was funny as hell.
They put him in charge of a talent competition.
Yes. This is the intro for Snyder. Snyder is a brilliant character. Unironically, he's so immensely funny when he says, my predecessor, Principal Flutie, was into all that touchy-feely crap, but he was eaten. He's so fucking funny.
Yeah. So Sid, the demon fight. I want a whole story of the demon fighting puppet.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the concept is better than the execution. We'll just say that.
It's insane that we could say this is the first of 2 puppet episodes, and the second one is a masterpiece.
Absolute masterpiece.
So, it'll take a while to get there, but just keep that in mind, if you think about it. Did you catch the lie where Willow suggests they do acting, and then they say why for the talent show? She says because it's the best way to pass the talent show because it doesn't require talent. Bit of fun.
Yeah, they all get recruited in the talent show, and there's a demon that needs a heart and a brain, and for it to survive 7 more years. And there were 7 of them or 6 of them, and Sid came across it before. That's why he doesn't have a body anymore. And you think he's the bad guy for most of the episode, right?
And he thinks Buffy's the bad guy,
and he thinks Buffy is the demon. So when they finally, it's so funny when you see Sid trying to stab her. It's this dumb little puppet.
And then the music and that whole bit for me, I'm just like, oh, this is old. It's like this is clunky. This is having trouble.
But then they both go, what? And then Sid's like, yeah, I've been fighting for years. And he finds out he's like from the 30s. So he's been around a long time.
Yeah.
And he's a pervert.
So, yeah.
He's all young, newbie.
Sid's in the Chaos Bleeds game, I'm pretty sure. You get to play as him. Do you ever play that?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's been forever.
I said to my chat, I'll play that fully once I do like full Buffy coverage someday. So it's on the way, I suppose, behind all the other games I plan to stream. But
what do you play it? What are you going to play it on?
It's on GameCube and PS2, I want to say. So I just need Dolphin emulator probably for that. But I think it's got an original soundtrack, and then it's got, I know Giles, Spike, and Xander, I think, are in that, but Buffy and Willow are not, and you can tell, obviously.
When did that come out?
2002 would be around the guess of mine.
I remember when that came out.
Might have been after the show ended. I'm not sure. Because I want to say it's a season 5-6 era game because you're in the magic box to start. I believe.
Everything had a fucking video game in the early 2000s.
Yeah, man. It was awesome.
It was good times.
Because if we ever get to play anything together, it's got to be Return of the King on probably on GameCube, I guess.
God, dude, hell yeah.
Fucking cool. I was just remembering, so another line from him at one point, because they're talking about him looking after kids and stuff, and I think Snyder quotes like, "Kids are human beings. That's the woolly-headed liberal thinking that leads to being eaten." What's great, right, is it never makes any sense. Like, why does he hate kids so much? They comment on that like season 2, and then you find out it's because this is not the job he wants. He's not here because he likes children. He's here to cover things up if they go wrong, basically.
Yep.
Which it's fun as shit.
And he doesn't meet a great ending either. So
no, he gets eaten, even though he said he wouldn't.
So yeah, the puppet show is pretty. I liked it. What did you think of Nightmares?
What did I think of Nightmares?
With the monster is not. Well, I mean, it's kind of the Hellmouth, but the monster is a person.
I think this is good. The problem in my brain is I'm always going to compare it to Restless, which Restless is fucking great. So it's like, well, that's not very fair. And it's like, no, it's not. So like this for season 1 episode, I think is pretty solid. It's and it's always a good format, right? It just gets you to explore in a more abstract way all the fears, insecurities of your main characters. All good stuff for the most part. I'm trying to think of what's like notable for me about it. I think this is the only time you ever see Buffy with vampire makeup in this episode. I don't think that happens ever again.
I think you're right.
I could be wrong on that. Chat, you have to help me out if I'm. I don't think it happens ever again, which is curious, right? Because you think like, oh yeah, shit, that's kind of notable.
They even make an action figure of her in Sideshow. So Sideshow did a collection of 1/6 scale, like Prophecy Girl, and they have Vampire Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I never thought about that.
I really like the sort of insecurity relationship she has with her dad stuff.
Yep.
As much as we don't get much of it, and of course, I think it's season 2 you get a little bit more, and then he's out of the picture completely.
He is gone. Yeah.
Part of it obviously is to make room for Giles. Like I've always seen that was like the writing goal there, because he moves in. speaking of which, he has a really sudden, again, it's such a testament to Anthony Stewart Head as an actor. They walk into that area and they're like, whose nightmare is this? So they see her grave and he just says it's mine. And what's so interesting to me is like that's not even necessarily true, right? Because it's her nightmares that she'll die. But he sees that and just assumes it immediately. And he starts going into like how much he's failed her and stuff. And it's like, geez, dude. But he takes it so fucking seriously, is what I mean about like without him, I probably would consider skipping season 1. I think if you don't have him, like
Show
the
falls
character and the
apart.
actor, yeah, he's really important to making some of these scenes work.
Yeah, because like even Angel's not in it enough, and he's just a background character.
Yeah. No, I was actually surprised at how little Angel there is in this season, actually.
Yeah. They really take their time to build him up, which isn't, but it is crazy now that I've watched season 1 for the 50th time. But you notice like the difference in quality from season 1 and season 2 is insane. It's like they level up so much just in one season. So
Yeah.
imagine if they had time with this one, but there's still the concept, like Out of Mind, Out of Sight, I think is a good episode. I think it's Nightmares is, I think it's decent. The story with the kid, and it being about, I'm betting the pitch, MauLer, was probably darker. Just the way they set up the episode. I'm guessing the pitch wasn't possible. A kid fucked up a baseball game and got beat up by his coach. I'm thinking it probably was a darker concept.
They also like Willow's insecurity is it's like performing on stage when she's not ready, sort of stuff. Giles gets the I can't read my books at first. Xander's is the clown from his birthday party.
Yeah.
These are all to me like softer approaches to some of these, like because it gets a little heavy toward the end, but then we win and it's all okay. Compared to again, Restless, if you remember, it gets way darker.
Way darker.
And implies a lot of stuff about the things that are going on and foreshadows a lot of really horrible events in a good way.
Yep.
I think it's a perfectly enjoyable episode with like there's some highlights. I think that's the one where Willow's like suggesting things a whole bunch in a row, and eventually Giles says, "Willow, do shut up."
Yep.
It's just very like it's like the most aggressive he's ever been with her. She has a do you see that she has a photo of him in her locker, Willow?
Oh yeah,
because they do reference later on that she had a crush on him in season 1. Because it makes sense. He's like super intelligent, sort of thing, and super caring. That's the thing that I think you couldn't do now in a couple of ways. Like it would be so suspicious for these kids to be spending so much time with him in his library, and what's even worse then is they have to meet in secret in a modern town if they have a court. What are you doing?
What are you doing, Giles? What's your problem? They slightly mention it when he shows up at Joyce's hospital room.
I love like those jokes are so fucking funny.
What are you doing here?
Where he turns up to get a book. He says he's getting a book, a late fee. I think that's the Owen episode. He's just like, wow, you take your job really seriously. Yes. And they're all standing around Joyce to find out she's okay, and Giles is just also there.
She's like, why is the school librarian here?
So these are like out of respect for
yes, I just wanted to check on you, and just like they really do care in this school. Wow.
It's always so awkward because he's the librarian specifically. But no, it's amazing how much comedy comes from him not even making a joke per se. He's just trying to behave normally in contrast with everyone else. That's another thing that makes it work so much is that Xander, Willow, Cordelia, Buffy could be a bit overwhelming without him being the contrasting, stuffy, dry British man to back and forth with. Which, to an extent is a dynamic that's always worked. Like I said, Alfred and Batman have that kind of back and forth that always makes it really fun. Do you remember it's in the puppet episode, I think, where Cordelia keeps fucking talking to him, and he just stops, stares at her for a bit. He goes, "Your hair," and then she like freaks out. She's like, "Oh God!" And he says, "Yeah, Xander said that would work."
That's great. And then we see later on her worst nightmare is like this horrible perm, and she's like in this, just horrible clothing. It's so funny. So kid turns out okay, and it's the coach who beat him up.
And just bringing in because this is we're going to talk about this obviously with the finale, but the theme of this season, if the show is about, because we talked about this, the whole kid to adult. Season 1 is learning all about death and being afraid of death and conceptualizing death and all that. So Buffy's big fear of the Master, which is a pretty solid representation of just death itself. He's kind of just like, that's what vampires are, undead. He's going to eat her, blah, 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 scary. And she becoming a vampire, being in her grave. It's all good setup for what will be addressed in the finale, I would say. So, like, yeah, I give it a thumbs up. Nightmares, you know, it's solid.
Yep.
We're not looking at this is not one of the bad episodes. It's scaled to the season 1 sort of standard.
Out of mind, out of sight. A
Yeah,
girl.
I like this one.
Yeah, I like this one too. A girl who just doesn't get noticed and just turns invisible. And it's because, you know, they're on a Hellmouth, right? But apparently this is something that happens a lot. And she's also a bit psychotic, and she doesn't like Cordelia.
That's probably funny enough, the biggest weakness I think in the episode is where the writing somewhat gives up on the character when they say like, "Why is she killing everybody?" And Giles is like, "She's insane."
Yeah,
you're just like, okay, I guess it's just like,
it's still a big jump, you know.
Yeah.
But
going after people vengefully, but then trapping a bunch of people in a room, fucking gassing them to death. It's like, damn, that's
yeah. She was ready to take out the entire school at some point. So yeah, she was obviously angry because she didn't get noticed. She tried and she didn't, so she eventually faded, and then nobody noticed, not her parents or anything. And
no, apparently not.
Apparently not. And she had a nest there.
Yeah, very newt aliens type nest.
Yes. Yeah. And
I guess, do you remember how they started to introduce in this season? I say as though it's not like an intended thing, but like the lessons usually pertain, like school lessons, college lessons will pertain to a theme of the episode. It opens with they're talking about Cordelia says Shylock is all about wine, wine, wine. It's like the whole world's about him. He should get over himself. I was just like, it's kind of funny because that's kind of a conclusion by the end of this episode. It's just like, yeah, okay, it's sad that people ignored you. It's sad that you weren't paying attention to all that stuff, but it doesn't mean you could just kill everybody. What's wrong with you?
No, this is the episode where Cordelia levels up as a. I mean, she was funny, but
yeah,
she levels up as a character, and you see that they're going to take her a little more seriously. But yeah, Invisible Girl. Harmony gets knocked, gets her ankle broken, and
dude, Harmony. She's in the last episode of the franchise, you know.
She sticks around for a long time.
she gets her own episode in Angel season 5.
Blondie Bear. It's
amazing to track. Harmony is just random friend of Cordelia, but not even really a friend, and where she ends up going. So it's just wacky to think in retrospect. That's all.
When I hear Blondie Bear, dude, that's what I was called in high school by certain girls. One I might be married to right now.
Nah.
Yeah, so that's when we heard that line. We're like, "What?" So, but yeah, it's a good it's a good like high school episode about people who don't feel seen. They even talk about like not being heard. I forgot what episode it was, but they were talking about some philosopher or whatever, talking about like after food and shelter, something humans need is to feel heard. It was the teacher, right? It you could see that they're building and they're fighting, like Joss and the crew are finding their legs, right? They're getting better as things go on. And again, as it ends, Cordelia and Buffy have a heart-to-heart, and they talk about loneliness. And Cordelia, I forgot what Buffy said to her. Like, oh, I'm sure you can imagine that or something. She's like, no. I feel lonely all the time, even when I'm surrounded by people. I think while people are so busy agreeing with me, they don't hear what I have to say.
Yeah, and she says that better to be alone with people than alone on your own, sort of thing. And it was just like, I'm sorry, what? Like it's kind of a really profound thing that Cordelia just said. And this is the thing, if you track some of the stuff she says and the way she says it, she's not stupid. she's just ego driven as hell. So like the world. There's a line I think that summarizes the episode. She says, like they tried to kill Miss Miller, Harmony, Mitch. It's all about me. Me. And it's so funny because on one hand it's like, well, she's actually right and she's actually figured it out. But on the other hand, it's like, God, she's so fucking obsessed with herself. It's like,
She is. Well, and it's funny, like the way her character progresses, especially what happens to her family money later on, and she gets humbled. She changes a lot. I mean, they did her dirty in Angel.
It's
like
so unfortunate because she's nearing top tier right before she gets ruined.
Yeah, she's on a Wesley arc, right? And then she gets ruined.
And then it's so sad. That's one of the biggest crimes I'd say of the full thing, because Cordelia's it's really interesting again to track again, because you'd think it's like mean girl archetype, she's gonna be the plastic sort of thing or whatever, she's gonna be like a lame, but this episode already pushes her in that direction. But like I said, with the pieces of intelligence, but also the this is something they give to Anya eventually, right, where she's just willing to say stuff because she doesn't understand why she wouldn't. So you have I think Giles says like, I've never seen you in here before. That she's like, oh no, I have a life.
Yep.
like she doesn't say it in a way that comes across like she's trying to hurt him. She says it like that's the answer to the question.
Yeah, and, obviously.
I love the delivery of that in the way that she does it. Do you remember the it's a season 3 where everyone's thoughts are being heard by Buffy? She's the only character that says 1-to-1 everything she thinks.
Yeah.
Just comes straight out. Like,
and it makes her way more. That's why I liked Anya. Anya was one of my favorite characters because she was so blunt. And she didn't like bunnies. It must be bunnies.
Throw in for sure.
Yeah. So at the end of this episode, they go full X-Files. They have the feds like standing around, and people are like, what are they doing here? And they were just waiting for her to get caught or whatever. And they bring the Invisible Woman into a class for assassinations and infiltration. It's like, man, that would have been really cool to revisit. Guess not.
It's a weird one because it's like, that's like obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you send her on you find out she comes back to Sunnydale eventually, like that same girl, and she's deciding like, yeah, I actually escaped eventually, but I learned a lot. And
she would have been great for like, here's some information, on this, and the government knows about it or whatever.
Big bad that's on the way or something.
Yep.
Adam, if you really want, I guess. But yeah, I could have done something with that. That's good as well on the Cordelia stuff, because it's I forget if it's like before or after, but you still get it in the episode of Buffy has that moment where she's just watching her. I think is it May Queen or whatever they're preparing for, and it's the life that Buffy doesn't get to live, right?
Yes.
Watching her with a bunch of friends doing like girly things and stuff, and then getting more insight than she actually realized was available. But also, it's like Cordelia is Buffy could have been that, which they do show like in, I think it's a season 2 flashback, right? In the where she's like Cordelia, almost like 1-to-1.
Yep.
But
she mentions it in this episode. Cordelia's like, you were popular, and she's all, yeah, in LA I was popular, so I know what you mean.
Her life got ruined by being the Slayer.
Yep.
But the show argues it's a little bit more complicated than that, and that is Buffy's life ruined? Is it something that she can't make anything work? And that's the struggle of the whole season, right? And then you get the prom payoff in season 3 that makes a lot of it very much worth it. All the sacrifices she makes looking after people and stuff. This is good shit. But like these little episodes are building blocks for later stuff, I would say. It's just not worth skipping.
They do all the character work. So they do all the basic stuff. They do your basics. And I've seen worse first seasons for sure.
Yeah.
And I was able to stay engaged, probably because, and it's just kind of fun. It's the monster of the week stuff, and some of it's cheesy, but I miss that. I miss when cheesy was done earnestly, if that makes any sense at all.
I know exactly what you mean. They were trying to make this work, darn it. And some of the really cheesy stuff is like they're a bit self-aware, but some of it they were like, oh, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Like, no,
we won't revisit that again.
Well, even Buffy's one-liners are not as strong as they eventually get. Do you remember she says? I think she says something like, "I thought you know, like you understand my vision." I think is what Marcy says, and then Buffy says, "You're a thundering loony."
Yep. I'm like,
okay.
And it gets much better. My wife's I don't. My wife's favorite line is from, the Adam storyline, and they're like, they're like, "Are you going to suit up?" And she goes, "I've slain in this halter many times," and all the girls love that line. See, that's the kind of wit that comes later on. But Prophecy Girl, where she gets her dress. She gets her dress.
Well, so how do you? I guess do we even ask this question? What is the favorite episode of the season for you?
I'm going over the list right now.
Going
over the list right now.
Obviously, I asked because we've gone through 11. We were about to go through 12, and that would then mean it's like, so with everything that's been said, like I said, I went with Witch, but that there's competition, I guess I would say, because I like a lot of stuff in the final episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably Prophecy Girl's my favorite episode, but it's between the last three. It feels like, to me, it started feeling like the Buffy we see later. I mean, it's just a small hint, by the way. It's nowhere near on the level. But yeah. Outside of Prophecy Girl, I would have to say Out of Sight, Out of Mind. I like Witch a lot too.
Well, I'm not like particularly super passionate about the pick. It's mostly because Witch, to me, just that structure is what we get throughout like all of Buffy pretty much, and it's I'd say is mostly nailed, and like the plot is pretty solid, and it twines within the theme. Characters get their payoffs and move forward, sort of thing. It's like that's what they're doing. That's how they do it, and they do it well. The other episodes have it, but like with weaknesses, and even Prophecy Girl, it's got like two of the best scenes in the season. But it's also like, we'll talk about some of the things that I don't get, a lot of decisions that are like awkward, but yeah,
And my favorite, like, obviously, the puppet is my favorite, like one-off character. Freaking loved him. And the way they send him off, so it's like you're getting the very end of a story that you're never going to get, this demon hunting puppet who's been fighting for decades. And when he finally gets freed, when Buffy has that talk with him, and she's all, "When you mean freed, you mean die?" And he's like, "Yeah, because my body is bones and dust. I just want to be out of this," and it makes him a true hero, like, he's perving on Buffy, but whatever. He's a puppet. He's harmless.
He's a puppet.
It's not going to be able to do much, is he? But with Prophecy Girl, they do kind of ramp up the stakes a bit, but then we have the Anointed One, who does nothing.
Who is fucking pointless, and it's like the Anointed One shall lead her to her death. Also, you're like, okay,
and it was just like he leads her to the death. That's all he does.
She was going there anyway. It's just like whatever.
Yeah, but this has, like you said, it has the best scene in the series.
Yeah. I guess, do you want to do it now? We'll get there in a minute. We can sort of talk around it a little bit. It's like the slow-mo with the first fight she has in this episode. I remember just being like, you can tell they're bringing out the big guns, the equivalent of season 1 big guns. It's like, we're taking this one seriously, because this, unlike the pilot in a different way, this is like the please want us to come back, okay? Like, this is our last
renew us.
Yeah. Even the showing the dust, I think that's the best graphic they have throughout the whole season of dusting a vampire.
Yeah,
like they're saving their budget, which is something they keep doing, and I know Joss Whedon's talked about, like, they'll save it all for that last episode. They try to make something big happen, which is why when I watched Firefly for the first time, I was a little confused. I was like, oh, I thought they usually do the big bombastic thing. It's like, not quite. That last episode of Firefly season is not quite the same as that. It's the one with the bounty hunter. But it's still really fucking good. But point being, they don't fight some giant monster in a spectacular circumstance with all the characters doing all kinds of wacky things, which is more so what Buffy ends up doing.
Oh, Firefly got screwed.
Yes.
And it was also it was also a victim of Joss Whedon. So Joss Whedon can, even before he got into his troubles, could be his own worst enemy. And you just spoke of it. If he would have been patient with Angel season 5, it would probably been renewed.
Yeah.
If he would have been patient with Charisma Carpenter,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have problems he had later. And I think he got all caught up in making all these shows, being a rock star, getting his way, and then this thing, you got this TV show that's a success, right? And and what was most important to Joss is he was a nerd, so he was king of nerds. Like girls were wearing shirts that said Joss, something to the effect of Joss is my god, or Joss Whedon is my god. So that's probably going to go to your head a little bit. So when you get this monkey wrench of, oh, I went out and got pregnant, right? And the way he dealt with it wasn't great. Now I think Charisma Carpenter, who went on and had the baby, right? So
Yeah.
and that's great. I'm glad she did that. But later on, I think she also manipulated that situation to get some fucking work. But he could have handled that a lot better, and again, been patient, or they did like write their way around it, but he definitely punished her for
I assume anyone who wrote the season and they uprooted all of it to account for probably had some spite in their writing going forward from that. And it's annoying too, because if we're being real, like, yeah, I'd be annoyed too, obviously, but you also can still write a good story while shooting her from, the midsection up most of the time. And you don't really notice, like super notice, until, I don't know, like, you do kind of you start to realize like what's going on with her, sort of thing, when you're watching the season. So they have to account for it, but you didn't have to do that
No, he
storyline.
didn't. Yeah, and no, and he was a fucking dick in this
Yeah.
situation. Complete dick. Also, he and Sarah Michelle Gellar,
They
I'm
fought a
wondering
lot.
if their relationship was ever good.
Probably not. As soon as you clear like season 2-ish, 3-ish, they're both integral to the production of this thing, and then they both use that leverage to try and pull levers here and there for what they want, until it's very obvious she hates him.
Oh, yeah, to the point where I remember when they were doing Buffy panels and stuff, she would never show up
Yeah.
ever. And I remember it was a big deal when she went to con, and this is like the first time Sarah Michelle Gellar's going to con to talk about Buffy, and she was alone. And she liked everything else about, like, she got along with her co-star. I think she's still buds to this day with David Boreanaz. Yeah, she just didn't like Joss.
Mhm.
But you completely understand why she didn't like cons. Listen, I love cons, but the Q&As are usually pretty cringe. If you can find MauLer, I'm sure somebody videoed it. I was there. The Q&A she had was fucking some of the it was hard to sit through. I was so uncomfortable. I'm like, oh my god, these questions are so weird.
Was it all like
And
shipping questions and shit, or?
yeah, it was just
Yeah.
a bunch of it was fucking bizarre. And I am used to going to cons and listening to bizarre questions, but this was on another level. And not just because they were asking her they weren't, it was just weird fucking dumb questions, and not like good questions about the show. But that's pretty par for the course for a con and a Q&A. Somebody gets up there and they go, keep the question short. Life story. You get a life story, and then you don't even get a question. You're like, where was this guy or girl even going? But it's hard to explain unless you just go find. And I think it was right around the end. So 2000 Comic-Con 2002 through 2004. I'm sure there's video of it. But if you saw all the other panels they did, like Joss was always charming at panels. So his panels were entertaining. Nathan Fillion was the best at running a
Yeah.
panel I've ever seen. And I remember questions like somebody asking Joss who his favorite Harry Potter character was, and of course he answered Hermione. right? But yeah, like the panels were really good, and you'd have everybody there. And it's that's why it's really sad to see what happened to Nicholas Brendan, because you know 20 years ago he was really sharp and funny, like a really sharp and funny dude, and you saw his degradation throughout life, who just passed, by the way. Rest in peace. Drugs fucking suck. But yeah, I don't think they ever got along. I mean, we heard about it even back then, like that they hated each other, but they stuck together for 7 seasons. It couldn't have gone longer than that, though. There was no way. It was at a breaking point, and I think Joss was done with her, and she was done with him. And that's why, you know, Angel probably got a little more care, you know, towards
I mean,
the end.
yeah, I'll argue to the end of time. Angel season 5 is like everyone locks the fuck in on their team. It's really lean and streamlined, and they tell like 3 seasons of story in 1 season. But yeah, the problem with all this obviously is just we never know what the other side of the story is.
No, and
There's
it's not like Sarah Michelle Gellar was ever looked at as difficult to work with, like from anybody else. You've never heard it, like, ever. So maybe it was just those two didn't like each other, but they made it work as long as they could. But in this, in the finale here, best episode of the series, I think. They get to business right away, and you know, Giles discovers that there is a prophecy. We don't find out right away, but you can tell. You can pretty much tell what it is, and Buffy's gonna die, and he's freaking out. And I think he pulls this off so well. It really sets the tone for the episode, and he's kind of short with Miss Calendar in the beginning, and it's kind of out of character for him. So you know, like the gravitas of the situation, and this is where Anthony Stewart Head just fucking rules.
It's almost like sets up a thing as well. He does this a lot, eventually awareness of it in the show, where he'll be reading a book and then he'll go, "Oh no, something catastrophic is happening," and, you know, just like whether or not it'll actually come true. But yeah, it's always going to be carried through by the fact that he takes it so fucking seriously. And like I said, there's all these just little hints that it's probably something way worse this time. And if you notice in this the last episode, you'd be like, "Ooh, what will it be?" And if you notice the themes that have been popping up here and there, you might be like, it's gonna be Buffy is prophesized to die outright. And you'd be like, well, how are you going to deal with that? And like we were saying earlier, Giles doesn't actually know how to deal with this. Not really at all, actually. Kind of panics. And but before that, it's like the morning she walks in and she's just like, hey, and he sees her and he has this sort of like really elated expression, which is knowing that she's okay right now. And again, it's just like, dude, where would they be without him for that first season?
Screwed. And Angel's keeping his distance from Buffy at this point, so he hasn't really contacted her.
Yeah,
kind of ghosting her right now. And Giles seeks him out for help on this, and Buffy walks in on the conversation, and she hears that she's going to die, and she has this existential crisis, which is really good, by the way. You know, she's like, I'm a 16-year-old girl. I don't want to die.
There's so many. I don't know, man. The writing in that whole scene it just ranks up. Every line between everybody is really well done. The performances, all the right pauses in the right places, the right like delivery for everything. Both Giles and Angel being unable to tell her basically anything useful because they don't know how to deal with this or what they're supposed to do. She heard something she wasn't supposed to. And then for Buffy being throughout this whole season quite strong, assertive, even in the face of death, kind of making some jokes, doing some one-liners, always managing to beat the day. She just gets told definitively by a book, there's nothing you can do, you're going to die.
You're dead.
And she gets to perform a part of the character that you don't really see in the whole season until this point, which is just, she's terrified. She doesn't want to die.
Yep. And this is where you see that she is a you know, I forgot how old she was when she was playing this, but you see she is this young girl, right? Put in this ridiculous position. And the weight of that really comes home to everybody. This is the episode where Xander asks her out and she turns him down. So he's bummed. He's listening to I Fall to Pieces in his room by himself. And Willow sees all her friends like murdered. And she has that great line of like, this is different. You know, they came into our world and made it theirs. You know, and it made the vampires dangerous again, because the vampires are getting killed left and right in this. And occasionally they have to make them really scary and horrible again to not make them, I don't know, like the anti-vigilante task force and Daredevil, who just gets killed all the time and beaten all the time. So I thought that was a really good scene.
Getting Buffy back in as well, right? Like she said she doesn't want to do this. She's out. She's going to leave. And then Willow saying they made it theirs, sort of thing. Like Buffy's decision is basically, even if it means I'm going to be risking dying, I'm going to make sure like I can, you know, do what I can to get this back to.
That's what pulls her back in after. I'm sorry, I skipped over that when Buffy found out she wanted to die, or she was going to die. She's like, I quit. I'll make this easy. I'm done slaying. You guys deal with it. And begs her mom to take her out for a weekend. And then she talks to Willow after her friends get murdered, and that's what kind of pulls her back in. And it's like, okay.
I love that image of the bloodied hand on it's like Looney Tunes is playing on the TV.
Yep.
It's such a good visual, which, by the way, I felt like they used that in 28 Years Later, that same visual, Nia. Do you remember this blood splat on the TV? It's like Teletubbies is playing.
Yep.
I was like, oh man. I wonder, I don't know, I'm not going to say this is the first it was ever used or anything, but it's a pretty good visual for like reality is just fucking crashed into, which again is like thematic on point for the season. It's all about like, you know, you can't live in the child world forever. We feel like invincible.
Bloody hand on your childhood.
Yeah. It's a nice way of doing a more bit of violent imagery without breaching any kind of age rating. You'll be fine. Or crazy age rating anyway. But and again, it's the best moment of acting in the season, very likely, from Sarah Michelle Gellar in that scene. And then Alison Hannigan is really fucking good when she's basically explaining that she's terrified and the vampire's taking over. And then of course Ashley Stewart Head just doing amazing throughout the whole thing as well. It's what it is about this episode. You're like, there's potential here. This show, like, feels like they're churning something, you know, which is better late than never. But obviously, the point we're trying to make is that this is all basically them being like, we're figuring this out, guys. We're almost there, I swear.
Yeah, I think it's the first time in the season we saw little snippets of it, but this is the first time we see a big chunk of what's to come, right?
Yeah,
and it creates stakes. These things and stakes are all based on how much we care about the characters. You can present things all day long, but if I don't care, like sorry to go back to Daredevil again, but if you have Vanessa die, but it's totally meaningless and stupid, you know, you can't just go, well, the Kingpin cried because his wife died. It's like, yeah, but his wife died in a really dumb way, and they didn't need to kill her, and I didn't buy it. So therefore, I don't feel the stakes. This one, Buffy, even in season 1, makes sure to do that, does the work to do that. And you see the desperation of Xander, you know, who was feeling sorry for himself, and Angel and Giles, and they don't want Buffy to die. So Giles steps up and goes, you know, no, you're when Buffy comes back and says, no, I'm gonna deal with the Master, and he's like, nope, I'm going, and you need to listen.
Again, it's almost like him being somewhat childish himself, in the sense that he's got no chance. Like it's just gonna have to be her or it's no one else. And yeah, where he's like, I've made up my mind. She's like, so have I. He's like, I made up mine first. I'm older. I'm wiser than you. Just like playing into the schoolyard shit. It's very funny, and you know, like cute in a sense of he's rising up to a pretty courageous move there, but everyone knows like it can't be you. You'll just die. So it's got to be her.
Yeah. So she knocks him out. And goes out, gets the crossbow, and gets to work and meets the Anointed One, who literally takes her to her death. A death that happens, by the way.
again, I mean, we've talked about it, but the Anointed is such a useless part of this whole season.
Yep. It's which makes his eventual demise in season 2 so much more satisfying.
It does. They do make that work in their favor, I will say, because I've watched this show with many people, and I play into it of like how fucking useless he is and shit. And then when they finally see that scene, they're like, "Wait, he's dead?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's fucking dead."
Yep. Yeah, she goes down into where the master is and takes him on, and he beats her pretty easily.
He's got
in the beginning
this hypnosis element that is a bit shaky in reference to the whole series. Sorry. So you have, I think, if I'm right here, you've got the Master, Dracula, and Drusilla are the only times we ever see this move. Now, Dracula, Spike says he got a bunch of like tricks from somewhere, possibly spells, different things. Like, so you just sort of wave that off. The Master, the argument is he's super fucking old, super powerful. That's why he has this ability. It's like a thrall, which is kind of how they describe the Dracula one. And then Drusilla, she's weird. That's really all I've got. She's not older than Darla or Angel, so it doesn't work in that sense. But she had the sight, right? And she's very mystically almost broken brain. But you try and work with that. So you're like, so the Master and Drusilla kind of have it. He has it because he's really old, and she. How does it work? It's like, I don't really know for sure. And it goes from working to not working. You know, it's one of the weaker parts of like their conflict, I guess, because I just don't know what the fuck's going on with that. It's like, all right, I guess.
I think they're just relying on other vampire lore. They're like, other vampires have been able to do this, so we'll just do it with the Master and maybe revisit it a couple of times during the course of the show, but not other vampires. Like Angel doesn't have this power. Like Spike doesn't have this power.
No, and it doesn't, like I said, so it's not strictly tied to age, I guess. Like I said, Drusilla's very unique. So
yeah,
there's an excuse because she only uses that on Kendra to kill her, right? It seems to me it's like a similar power, I guess, but I don't know what else to say in terms of like the scene works well enough, right? And it's like his dialogue is better here than elsewhere, but
yep,
you know, he doesn't kill her either. He could have, you know, like kill like break her neck or so to speak drink her dry, but she gets kind of lucky and falls face first into water, which unfortunately is unlucky in the sense that she drowns. Like, so
she drowns.
She would have. What I'm saying is, like, if he had dropped her and she hadn't dropped into the puddle, I guess she would have just lived outright.
She would have been fine. Yeah. Don't know what he was thinking there.
That's what I'm saying. It's like for the big bad conflict, it's a little underwhelming in terms of like, what is he doing?
A little bit of plot armor. That's what we're gonna say. It's a little bit of plot armor. She falls into the water. She does die. Angel and Xander get there a little late, and then it's that break for commercial. So it's like she's dead. Dun 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 dun. Then they get back. It's like, let's do CPR.
And then we have what might be, unfortunately, my vote for like the stupidest line in the entire season, where Angel says, "You have to do it. I have no breath."
I have no breath.
He says with words spoken
through breath. And it's not really consistent with that, like the whole like he doesn't need oxygen thing. It's
so stupid because he's actually a vampire is better poised to perform CPR, quote unquote, than a human because they don't use the oxygen, right? So the air's going in and out and it's not converting. So
yeah, it's
actually better, if anything. And they clearly use their lungs to suck in and push out air, you know. So I don't know why. The only assumption I could have is just like, well, yeah, but we need it thematically, so to speak, with like the arc. Like Xander needs to be the one that saves her because of the different things they're doing right now. And he's like, it can't be Angel. And it's like, okay, well then you just there's a vampire or two, and Angel has to fight them while Xander
just
saves
say,
her.
Angel, make a joke out of it. Go, how old are you and you don't know CPR?
Yeah, you could actually just do that. Yeah.
It's all vampire. Like, why would I need CPR? You know, and then have Xander do it.
Oh yeah. Also, you know when they were trapped in the room getting gassed in the Invisible Girl episode, when they come out of that room, I don't know if it's David Boreanaz making a mistake, but he's like heavily breathing. He's like,
Yes, he is. And this is right before
like,
he's like, "You
huh?
guys go ahead. I don't need
I
to
don't breathe.
breathe."
You clearly breathe.
Yeah.
Clearly do. So yeah, it's hard to get it like fully right. I don't even mind portraying someone who's supposed to be a vampire who's clearly air is going in and out. You could argue, right, it's just like an automatic thing as a human, so it carried over as a vampire, whatever. But I hate that line so much. Like, I don't breathe. They're just like,
It's like, that's the kind of thing just don't bring up, you know, because it's going to create a lot of problems later. And it does. It still creates problems later. But they revive Buffy. And we all know what this does. Her drowning for just a minute.
Yes.
It brings in another Slayer who comes in later.
Which one might argue is a bit of an exploit.
Yeah.
That the Watchers could have taken advantage of significantly if they wanted to. Made a whole army.
They could have.
But, you know, that's if, again, you have to run with it that the Watchers just don't like the Slayer, really.
But if you thought, if you think about that, you know, I mean, it's if you want to go full like drowned god Greyjoy, with them is drown them, revive them, and you can make another Slayer. Or there's other ways too. A little bit risky, but it's not like the Watchers were the most moral people in the world.
No, not at all.
Yep. So when Buffy gets up, she is
revitalized
and a little more powerful because then the hypnotic thing doesn't work.
Like I said, I don't know why that's the case.
Yeah.
She even says save it for the tourists, and I was like, what does that even mean, Buffy?
I know.
What are you saying? What's going on?
And the Hellmouth is under the library.
Yeah, yes, which it does reappear in season 3. They're actually the same monster, actually, in the Zeppo, which is a fucking banger episode.
Yes.
Season 3 is going to be fun to talk about. There's so many good episodes in that one.
Yeah, there is. So the Hellmouth is starting to open. Miss Calendar took off with Willow. Buffy's with Xander and Angel.
They end up having to come back because like an army of possibly zombies, possibly vampires appear.
Yeah.
And then they surround the school, and then there's a big crazy creature rising out from the Hellmouth, or it is the Hellmouth. They kind of aren't super duper clear on that, because when Giles sees it, I think he says the Hellmouth, because you know it ends up, the Hellmouth ends up being more like a portal or slash a hole that you can go through. That, you know,
yeah.
And also the Mastis is like he's a little clap where he's like, we're winning. But it's all going off, man. Everything's going to shit. Can Buffy do it? Can she save the day? And they play the theme
song. Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. You know what I found so awkward about that bit? And this is just clearly because they haven't figured everything out yet. She sees a vampire, she punches him, and he falls over, and then they all walk away from him. It's like,
you're like waiting for some. They're playing the theme, and they're building up. I'm like, oh, we're gonna get some freaking Slayer karate kung fu, right? Oh no, she just trips him, kind of walks away. That's all she does.
He doesn't get back up.
Nope, he's just down. And has her big fight with the master. She throws him through a window. He falls on a piece of wood that she noticed, and
staking him, and he's
dead. Never ever to return. Well, I mean, except in a flashback or an alternate form. Yeah.
Because his thrall no longer works as well as he wanted it to, and he has fruit punch mouth.
Yeah, she's all, you have fruit punch mouth. I'm like, what is that?
I like the I may be dead, but I'm still pretty. I think that's a good line.
Yeah. And they go to the bronze and dance afterwards,
and it all works out for the best.
It all works out.
Season 1, and it's, well, I was just gonna say, the sense of like this is what it has to offer. I mean, on that front, but keep going.
No, and like no pan back to the, because when I first saw this, I was waiting for them to pan back to the skull, and it was going to do something, like it was going to move or something, and nope, they just
which is funny considering the first episode of season 2, because that episode kind of is all about, is the master actually gone for good for sure?
Yep.
So it's kind of funny. In isolation, the fact that she died and came back and she's just super confident is kind of like, really? I would have thought, considering everything in the season, that maybe there'd be a bit more for her to consider regarding that. I was like, okay. But then you get season 2, episode 1, and I think it makes it really work in the sense of like, no, immediately she felt really good about it. She's okay. But then she gets the summer break. She thinks about it a lot. And then the master is threatened to come back, and you get that first episode, which I think is really, really quite solid for season 2, where she's losing it a little bit, thinking about what all this meant and stuff, which it's so it helps out season 1 in the sense of like, how much would this actually affect you? And it's just like, well, it works. It's as a story that could have ended with 1 season, and you and I probably would never have talked about it in our lives.
Nope.
We are instead looking at the foundation of 11 additional seasons on top of this.
Yeah, something that changed the face of pop culture and genre television for good and bad forever.
That is kind of crazy, isn't it? Because if anyone had zero context for this show, how we've just talked about it, you'd be like, why would I watch this? And you're like, well, we haven't really gotten there yet, and we won't for a little bit. But for now, this is how it starts.
So let's get to the people, MauLer,
Mm-hmm.
shall we? We have programming. Everything has become a new member. Welcome. Hakira for $5 says, you're reviewing Angel when the timeline hits that part. I'm not a Buffy fan, but I'm definitely an Angel fan. You're a bloody puppet.
It's rare you meet someone who's only a fan of one of them after having watched them both,
Yeah.
They're very similar, but obviously, I do tend to prefer Angel myself.
Same here. How are we gonna do that? Are we gonna do all of Buffy first and then Angel, or are we gonna?
I think we'll have to jump. So it would be, maybe we can, because we have the reality is, folks, we're gonna probably have to split the rest of the seasons into 2.
Yeah, there's no way we're gonna get season 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 in one.
So season 2 AB, season 3 AB. Maybe we do season 4 of Buffy A, season 1 of Angel A, season 4 of Buffy B, season 1
I
of Angel
like
B.
that one.
That could,
and work. That way you're staying kind of with the continuity
as best we can. Yeah,
yeah, as best we can. Podcast idea, Boomerlong. It's got to have Buffy in it though.
Yeah.
Buffy buffs. Snacks. I think that one sounds. Thanks for the suggestion. Sounds a little gay. I have a cat named
Creville Winsloth, which is Lorne's name.
Yes. Oh, Lauren. Oh, dude, it's so sad how that guy died.
Yeah.
Angel is peak. It is. Angel is one of my favorite shows of all time, and I would argue top 3 finale of any show ever made.
There's a couple of accolades for me. Angel as a show, I guess, would be my favorite because it's the 5th season. That season is just my favorite season of TV, and then it is my favorite ending to any story ever. When we might have to devote a whole podcast just to that last episode.
Probably,
so good.
But like every episode's a banger in that season. Like
it's so fucking good. And then and then Wesley is like my favorite character in fiction, just of all time.
Yeah, it took me a while to come around, and I had a friend early on who told me, no, Wesley's the best character in all of Buffy and Angel. I'm like, I don't know about that, but it's hard to argue. Like, definitely one of the best character arcs in television history.
If it was, you need Angel season 5. It's really good up to that point, but when you get those last bits, so the stuff with his dad, stuff with Fred, and then his overall like philosophy and how much he's just broken completely after everything he's been through. Oh, I don't know if and it's funny because you like it more than Spike and Angel, and I'm like, listen, it's close. Okay, those two are fucking amazing as well.
But Illyria, like what they did with her was fucking awesome. Like
That goes against all conventional logic.
It does. That should never fucking work ever, and it worked. That little line of when Wesley dies, and I'm going to paraphrase it. I don't remember. I'm sure you remember it exactly. Where she expresses how angry she is, and she,
in the street or in
in the street, like at the end, like Wesley's dead, and she says like
I'm grieving for him. I wish to do more violence.
I wish to do more violence. Yeah. So the imprint of Fred is there. You wonder where they would have taken that. And we're not going to count the comics. Okay.
Yeah, I often just tell myself we're in the better timeline, that maybe they would have fucked it up. But we're okay. We're all right.
Yep. Can you play Lord of the Rings on PS4 and Xbox One? I don't think you can. PS3, I think. Yeah, I played it on PS3. But no. I don't think you can play it. Well, I don't know about Xbox. I don't have an Xbox.
We'll get it for you on arcade at some point.
There you go. I mean, I don't know how, I think if they remastered some of the old Lord of the Rings games, I think they would sell to just justify the remastering.
Oh, I think so too, honestly. But you know what? They'd sell better if Lord of the Rings were releasing shit that people really liked right now.
That's true. Well, that's the power of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings and the books.
Mm-hmm.
What we've gotten lately from Lord of the Rings is Rings of Power and Gollum and some weird Shire game.
That's the thing, man. They would have been so much better off if they hadn't made any new shit and just re-released the older stuff at the appropriate times and then did remasters of games and did new physical releases and shit. It's like, oh, what a wonderful world they'd be in and how much more money they would have made. But oh well.
Right. And really concentrated on like an open world game, take
the time, make it properly.
Take your time with it. I would have played the shit out of that. I think they're doing one. Who knows when it comes out? Hail MauLer and Gary finished season 1 just in time to catch the stream after starting months ago. Oh, started watching because of you guys. I'll have to catch the VODs of this future stream once I get caught up on each season. It's okay. They'll be on Nerdrotic Live. So you can catch them live here.
As I said, fair warning, we have just randomly mentioned crazy spoilers, and we will continue to probably do that. So fair warning, okay? Second, meaning that if you really want to watch the show for your first time, you're probably not going to want to watch these streams until you clear the 12 seasons. Because me and Gary are too tempted to go back and forth. Okay, it's going to be impossible for us not to.
It's 12 seasons. I've never thought of it that way.
I
know. But when you say 12, I'm like, that's a big number.
That is a big number. They're not short seasons. So
they're not short seasons.
That's the other thing I want to mention. I apologize to anyone who really doesn't understand the nature of this journey, if you will. If you go like, I'm going to check out this show because they're covering it, and you watch season 1, you're going to get a bad impression of what we're getting at with this. Okay, season 1 is not the show at its best. It's most people's pick for the worst season.
It's the worst season. It is.
I personally, I don't know if you'll agree with this, but if season 3 of Buffy is where everything kicks in properly, season 2 has got some really good highlights, but it's still got like Go Fish. A lot of people hate the Ted episode and Bad Eggs. There's a couple of ones that are just like, we're not there yet.
John, I got such a soft spot for John Ritter though.
There's stuff that works about Ted. We'll talk about that next time.
Poor guy.
Season 3 though, there's not a bad episode, and they crack the formula so fucking hard in season 3 that season 4 they decide to change it, to stay fresh, and to its somewhat detriment, season 4 is not as good as 3. But point being, when you're like, these guys must really think this show's great, I gotta check it out, and then they watch season 1, they're like, oh,
what are you talking about?
Believe me, we're aware of this, okay? It's just that you got to give it time to cook, because you'll eventually hit some of the best TV that's ever been made when you get far enough. And it started here somehow. What
everybody's telling me about Stargate. It's like, they stick with it to season 4 or something like that. It's like, okay.
No, I know. I've said this story before, but I was in a call with Fringy and Wolf years ago, I was just doing some work, and they were both talking about how they would never watch a show if it can't hook you in within a few episodes. And I was just like, listen, I understand why you're saying that.
Yeah.
However, I am gonna make both of you watch all of Buffy and Angel eventually. And I did, by the way, and they both think the show is awesome. So it's like, I understand. However, you have to just go out on a limb on how much you trust us, I suppose.
Yeah, not all shows can start like Babylon 5
Breaking Bad.
or Breaking Bad. Yeah, dude, Breaking Bad Breaking Bad is almost instantly good. And well, Game of Thrones, instantly good. Babylon 5, they changed the main character, and it's still like I'm in. It was like 3 or 4 episodes I was in on that show.
Mhm.
Next one. Disregard for $5 says, which character in Buffy or Angel do you think most qualifies for the label of Griftly Bear? Lindsay. Yep.
I'm looking forward to us talking about Lindsay. I find him fascinating, even though you get quite little of him. He is, crazily how I'd put this. Angel is kind of Lindsay right now. He's he kind of likes doing good, but he also still remembers and kind of enjoys doing a bit of evil. He's not sure what he wants to commit to. Only Angel eventually commits hard as fuck when he gets his principles in play.
Oh,
Lindsay
yeah.
never quite does.
Angel turns into fucking Batman.
Yeah, who did you say Angel's the most like when you hit season 5? Because I don't know if you remember, but season 5 opens with Punisher being referenced pretty hard. And I always thought, I wonder if they're trying to say that Angel's really like Punisher, or is he like Daredevil, or is he like Batman, or
he kills. So
he does kill.
Yeah, so he ain't modern Batman. Daredevil might be a good one. Daredevil. I know Joss Whedon hates the Punisher. Like he'll mention him, but
which is so weird because
is.
Wesley is kind of Punisher-y and
yes, he is. Kratosis has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships. Thank you. And Otem has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships. Thank you. Our next watch party will be, I don't know, soon. Probably the finale for Daredevil. I'm certainly glad I didn't do a watch party for that last. You haven't seen the latest episode?
No, but
again,
I'll be probably watching it after this.
Oh, I stopped watching Buffy to watch it, and it's oh.
Do you know? I can't even say specifically. I've told you specifically, but today I woke up right on time to do 2 very long recordings because they're part of something that's cool and upcoming and hopefully works. And then straight into this stream with you. And as soon as we're done here, I was like, will I have enough time to cook any food before I have to then watch Daredevil? Because I got to keep up to date with everything.
Right. You have time to cook food.
But it's a weird life. But I wouldn't trade it for anything else.
No.
I get to watch all of my favorite stuff and talk about it. So it's like, I'm happy. It's just really weird.
It is. It's like when my wife's like, what are you doing today? I'm like, well, I have to do, I got up in the morning. I watched an episode of Buffy, and then I did the Nerdrotic Nooner. Went a little longer than I thought, but it was a fun episode. And I'm like, I've got to cram the rest of Buffy, and I got it in. Thank God you said you were going to be 10 minutes late. I'm like, I'm going to be 10 minutes late. So, because we were supposed to start at 6. And yeah, I'm telling her, I'm like, I got to, for work, I have to watch Buffy. And she's like, shut up.
It's true though.
It's a great gig. It's a great gig.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Bag of Donuts for $1.99. MauLer and Gary streams are the best. Cheers. Thanks.
High five.
High five. Thoughts on the new Spider-Man being a killer? What?
I don't know anything about that. Is
that in the comics or? Porque, Eric? Yeah, what's that about? What's that about? It's probably, yeah, I don't know. Eric will let us know in a second. He's probably modding 5 streams at once right now. Are you going to watch Spider-Man Noir?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. There's a chance that'll be okay.
Tom Holland? Tom Holland committed murder?
What?
What are we talking about? Did Tom Holland go on a killing spree? He's not in the chat. Yeah.
Tom Holland is not in the chat, true.
Tom Holland is not in the chat.
He's gonna tune in later, I'm sure, but yeah.
What does Zendaya think? Finally, Gary and MauLer double team Buffy has become reality.
I mean, it is crazy. We've nearly sort of done one season of it, so it's technically begun.
Adam Bush Warren was in Altered Carbon season. Altered Carbon season 1 was great.
I watched that one. I don't remember. I must have completely missed him or forgot about it. But yeah, fair
enough. First time super chat. All right. 44-year-old German Buffy fan here. I've been watching your videos for 7 years. Gizmo, thank you. 7 years. That's a long time. Sorry.
Sure is.
Wasn't a Buffy fan when it came out, but oddly enough, my 60-year-old mom was. She even named her cat Buffy. Finally watched it around 18 years ago. Loved it. I was right there with you, Theo. When I first heard about it, I'm like, no.
I didn't even get a chance to have that sort of thing because I didn't know what it was. I saw it out of context, and it was already like the cool shit, you know. So what I was talking about was like I was referencing season 3's like there's a big arc to do with basically the morality of how much can you kill when you are saving lives all the time. And I remember just watching it, and it's like it's pretty violent, it's complicated. There's lots of things. You know, the idea is like you're watching a teenage girl show. I'd be like, I am. Like, I didn't even notice. But obviously I was too young for fucking realize that shit anyway.
Well, I mean, there's enough hooks in it for dudes to make it watchable, right? And then the world building is pretty good.
Do you did you have like an episode where do you remember where you were like, oh shit, this is actually maybe this isn't shit, you know?
I would have to look at the list. But I'm certain there's like there's one episode for every show that's like, oh, like this hooks you in.
That I always guarantee for people is Passion season 2. When they hit that one, if they watch that and say it's bad, I know they're lying because that episode is really fucking well made.
Hang on, I'll look. It had to happen in season 2.
That's usually where people kick in. Season 1, it's like, but season 2, they're like, ooh. School hard for a lot of people, you know. Spike's intro.
Probably Spike's intro.
That'll be fun to talk about.
Yep. Passion's really good.
Passion's just really, it stands the fuck out if you get around to rewatching it at some point soon. The way they like Angelus is narrating it, he's talking about like the nature of passion and why we have it and stuff. And then of course, like everything Giles says in the episode, it reflects as advice to Buffy ends up being things he doesn't do. And you know, knocking out a pretty significant character and then the fallout of that, it's really dynamic. And I always just remember it's like it's exciting to get to it because it finally shows off what the show can do instead of
when and it is Innocence, right? Where so Angel, that's where Angel loses his soul. That was my hook. When they turn this guy they've been setting up to be like the helper vampire with a soul into the big bad, I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. That's cool.
So, dude, there are some people who say season 2 is their favorite season.
It's a good season. It really is.
Stuff in it. I'm harsher on season 2 than a lot of people, I think. Mainly because of like the Go Fish type episodes and stuff.
Like
I
early
love the finale,
on,
though.
So like with the Doctor Who return, it was probably Dalek that like I was enjoying it,
Yeah,
But Dalek comes in, and I'm like, oh, whoa, like this.
So annoying in retrospect. It's like,
yep,
how they pull that off and then never can't. Yeah.
I know, no, but like, because you're wondering where are the fucking Daleks, but the way they introduce that is unfucking believably good. So I was, and yeah, it's and the same guy is writing the shit now. I don't know, it took me like the Hook episode for Babylon 5 because that's like a newer show. I waited way too long to watch that one, right? And it was just people in the chat, peer pressure, going, "You got what the fuck's wrong with you?" Because I was a Star Trek snob, so I'm like, I'm a DS9 guy. Fuck Babylon 5. So I watched it later and ended up loving it. But I think it was like Signs and Portents where they set up the Shadow War. I was like, oh fuck, that was awesome. But yeah, Innocence. When that's it, I mean, I'm trying to remember pretty far back, MauLer, but I remember going, holy, because I wasn't expecting him to lose his soul.
Yeah.
Right. So that came out of nowhere for me. And I'm like, oh shit.
Well, and that's technically a two-parter, right? Kind of.
Yeah, it is.
Surprise.
Well, he gets laid, and yeah.
And then the judge is fun, which is Brian Thompson again, isn't it?
Yep.
And everyone always shares that on Twitter because that moment was fucking awesome. The no weapon forged can kill me. And then she just pulls up a fucking RPG. And you're like,
I know.
That was then. This is now.
But yeah. Angel Turning was my hook. I grew up watching Buffy and Stargate with my mom. It's about time you massives covered at least one of these. We get around to stuff. It takes us a long time sometimes.
We did it.
Captain JPS47 for $5. I thought this show was gay and stupid. Then I watched it. It's just gay. Chris Wentworth for $4.99. The show holds a huge place in my heart. I grew up watching this show with my family every week. That and Angel, truly cherished memories. Yep.
Yeah, man. Same for me. It's been my favorite for a while as a TV show.
Yeah, I remember we had a big watch party for the finale at some friend's house.
I just had to. It was always annoying, so I wanted for my friends to get into it. But I was like, "But you got to go through the rough patch first, guys. You got to do it." You know, I did show a friend the puppet episode of Angel season 5 once as a sort of like, look how much fun this is. Don't you want to get to this? But all of it.
Yeah, it's like Blink with Doctor Who. You can watch Blink without knowing anything, and that gives you an idea.
Yes, but I actually think Buffy's cursed in that way of like, in retrospect, showing smile time out of context. Kind of, you know what happens in that episode. It's like there's a lot of things that aren't as funny if you don't know the characters.
Yeah.
And some people recommend like Once More with Feeling out of context. Like you can't show that.
No, you can't. You cannot show that out of context. I had a crush on Sarah Michelle Gellar because of her nose.
All right.
She never got a nose job. I don't know if she's ever gotten. She probably has some work. I haven't noticed. They all get work. I had a crush on Sarah Michelle Gellar for every other reason. There you go. I watched it live as it was released. Honestly, think it peaked at season 3 and lapsed from there. Good moments, episodes afterwards, but 3 was peak.
I like that everyone seems to pick different. I'm a season 6 guy forever. That season's amazing to me. But it's like the most controversial one as well.
Yeah. Matthew Hammond says, I think I caught the Buffy pilot live. It was fun. Gary, I found Buffy not unlike you did, from women raving about it, but I watched Firefly first, then Angel, and finally Buffy. Hated Spike at first, but damn, he's probably my favorite.
He's just so funny, so easy to like. We will talk about that. He's like a phenomenon in and of himself. It's insane. He infects the show.
Kind of crazy he never got his own show.
It's like a no-brainer.
That had to be talked about.
Yeah. There was ideas for a Faith show, a Spike show, a Ripper show. I remember there's just all kinds of stuff.
Josh Kelsey drops 10, walks away. What's up, Josh? Thank you. Alyssa Loeb for $10 says, with all WTTH. What's WTTH?
Chat, you're gonna have to help with it because JW is a John Wick, but that's probably not right.
Also was the first JW wink at the audience regarding Buffy's name. What kind of name is Buffy anyway? Oh, hey, Aphrodisia. And the other girl making fun of Buffy's name is Aura. I don't know what the WTTH is.
JW would be Joss Whedon, but then
Joss Whedon, okay.
Oh, Welcome to the Hellmouth also has the first
Yes.
Joss Whedon wink at the audience. Ari Buffy's name. I gotcha.
Gotcha. Took us a minute, but we got there. Thank you.
Thank you, chat.
Chat, you're lovely. Hi, Gary MauLer. The Clayface trailer has dropped. I watched it, and I mean, it's not bad for a horror movie, but
yeah, it could be really cool. But what are they doing? Making a Clayface movie? It's like, okay,
you need to introduce Batman before you introduce Clayface. I mean, am I being crazy by saying that?
It does feel like you're in an insane world. You're like, what about Batman? Like,
yeah.
Okay. You're like, no, we did a whole season of TV for a villain of Batman without Batman. You're like, but why? Why are you doing this? Why don't you want more money? And then, of course, being like, this is in the world of Superman. You're like, sorry, what? You're like, it's in Gotham, but the world built by Superman movie. You're like, should it be in a Batman movie? Like, yeah, not yet, though. We haven't got that.
It's hard for James Gunn to fight the I'm not truthful label when he ran out and gave us this big list of projects that are come out. And then what's actually, imagine him this is James, I say Joss Whedon, James Gunn introducing the DCU. Our first 3 movies are going to be Superman. Everybody goes, okay, yeah.
100%, yeah.
Supergirl. Clayface. What?
And then you leave the room. You back away slowly.
You back away. Oh,
fucking Clayface.
What are we fucking doing? Yeah. But the trailer itself looked fine, right? Will Angel kill his own son, an angel?
You know, there's technically 3 different answers to that question that are all correct.
There is. You want to talk about an unpopular character?
Oh my God, yes.
God dang. Bad week for Ryan. He lost his SPLC funding, and now Gary is streaming over him. What?
My God.
He's streaming over me, Black Cane. Let's do it. Yeah. Southern Poverty Law Center has been funding Ryan Kinnell. It tracks. Were the Watchers taken from Highlander? Asked Matthew Hammond. I don't know where Joss said he got the idea for the Watchers.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not particularly well thought out either. We get very little information on the Watchers, considering it's 7 seasons. Well, technically 12, because Wesley talks about the Watchers as well.
Yeah.
But you'd think it's such an important element, and it's kind of a really interesting one as well. Like this council of guys who are people, because there's female Watchers as well, who are all hell bent on trying to prevent the world from falling into the hands of vampires and demons. You're like, that sounds interesting, but don't get a lot on them, and they ultimately seem kind of almost evil as a result of that, because of the amount of inaction.
I mean, wouldn't you think it kind of a Van Helsing? I mean, it doesn't say that, but I mean, yeah, that's where you'd probably get it. It says Joss Whedon's idea for the Watchers Council and Buffy the Vampire, and this is just fucking Google, so I don't know if it's true. For the Watchers Council was primarily derived from the need to create a patriarchal counterpoint to the Slayer, drawing on established archetypes and lore created for the show's 1992 film and later expanded on in the comics and the show. Key inspirations and origins for the Watchers were the Shadow Men, ancient origins, with the lore the council descends from ancient African group. Okay. There's the origin comic. Van Helsing. There it is right there. So I think it's like a council of Van Helsings. That would be my guess.
Which again, that's a whole show in and of itself. Just saying.
Oh, the Ripper? Or
well, if Ripper were about Giles himself, if this were more like a general, like we get to see the Watchers Council throughout the ages or something, it'd be kind of cool.
Dude, I'd watch a show with Anthony Stewart Head right now.
I know. He's still here. Do something.
Ark Hammond Justice for $5. Thank you. Says, met James Marsters at MegaCon last month. Yeah, I know he's there and I didn't see him.
Did you just say and I asked Hammond Justice? Arkham.
Oh God, it's Arkham. I see when you put words together, I'm retarded. I'm retarded when they're separate. Arkham Justice. I'm a retard. Met James Marsters at MegaCon last month, and I asked him what his favorite Buffy season was, and he answered season 6. I was happily surprised by the answer.
It's a rough season, man, but I don't know. It's just the most meaningful one to me for Buffy.
That is the one my wife likes the least.
Again, it's a rough season.
It is, but I like it.
I love it.
I like it more than
what's my favorite season 4 Buffy herself, as in it's the most I end up caring about her because of what she's had to go through and how difficult everything is. Because I don't know about you, but there's a phenomenon with Buffy that I find fascinating. She's like nobody's favorite character.
No, she's not.
It's not actually a knock against her as a character. It's because she's surrounded by people who are fucking top tier. It's hard to, not pick some other people over it. But
this has certainly changed. But back when I was a youngin' in the 80s, reading the X-Men books, nobody's favorite character was Cyclops. Nobody hated him, but it wasn't anybody's favorite character. Now that has changed over time. I am very happy to say, but it's the same thing. Sometimes the team leader is just not the most popular, but that's a phenomenon that goes right back to the show. Everybody had a different favorite character. She's not my favorite character. So,
well, if you ranked all of the Buffy characters, she ends up at I don't know, 6 maybe.
So what's your top 5?
Well, so Spike 100% without consideration of Angel. Are we doing the 12 seasons or just
all of them together? What's just the Buffy verse? Yeah,
and it goes Wesley, Spike, Angel, and then it gets more difficult because it's like a lot of competition stuff because Giles is pretty high scoring. Willow is probably number 4th actually.
Okay.
Then it wouldn't be Gunn or Fred. Anya's pretty high up. Xander's really high up. He might have the 5th slot actually. Faith, when she's done her whole arc, is really high up as well. This is what's getting tough, and it's funny because I'm just like, I don't think Buffy's making it into the next slot or the next one.
Oh wow. Okay.
What about you?
Angel, Spike, Wesley, Giles, Faith, Lauren, then probably Buffy.
So I mean, though, you'd maybe expect more people to put her at top 3 at least, and it's like, well, she's up against some pretty tough competition. That's all.
Well, the whole series falls apart without her. So I mean, there's that. But as far as just, I don't know. I think that's what carried the show was its side characters and how much work was put into them. But Buffy is still the center point, but it is weird that she's nobody's favorite character.
Everyone I've watched
my wife's favorite character.
Well, there's gonna be people for sure, but everyone I've watched it with always ends up, circling around someone who's not Buffy.
Same here. But James Marsters, I met him at WonderCon. He was drunk off his ass taking pictures, but he was perfectly charming and fun and funny, but he was wasted.
I met him at Cardiff Comic Con.
You did?
And I was trying to think, what could I say to him that not everyone is saying? So I was like, well, it can't be a Buffy thing because that's what everyone will be saying. And I was just like, dude, I thought you were awesome in Smallville. He was like, really? And I was like, yeah. I checked out the show just because of the fact that I know you from Buffy, but I thought you were really good as Brainiac. And he was like, thank you. I was like, no problem. You just assume that you want to try and find something to say that's different, I guess.
Yeah. I was, when I met with Shatner, I couldn't say anything.
Mm-hmm. I was talking to Ryan about this, like the nature of being starstruck, because I don't want to like miss what he said. He kind of implied like he just doesn't, that wouldn't happen to him. And I was just like, it absolutely. When I saw Anthony Stewart Head standing in front of me, I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. Like you're the guy on the TV. You're not too much to brain overload and struggling to be normal, basically. Definitely been starstruck, but a lot of people don't get Star Trek at all. So it's just
yeah. I normally don't. I mean, I chatted up Stan Lee pretty good, but we had more time. So when you have more time, it might be more relaxing.
Relax a bit, yeah.
Yeah. When Ray Stevenson came to the shop, we just talked about family and, I asked him where he grew up and we just talked about life stuff. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. I just finished watching Chris Carter's Millennium today, and it was fun to see both James Marsters, Spike, and Juliet Landau, Drusilla, in guest roles. Millennium is a fucking awesome show.
I always saw ads for it. I never watched it because that's the Lance Henriksen show, right?
Yeah, it's really good and gone before its time. Great concept of a show, though.
What is the concept?
Well, it's X-Files, but it's the Millennium Group, right? So it takes a little, if you can, it's like a little darker tone on it, believe it or not, than the X-Files. So, but yeah, I've got it on the divots. It did have an awesome theme song, chat.
And Terry O'Quinn's in it too.
Yeah. Had a really fucking good cast. That's pretty much a good summation. There's nothing wrong with that. Man, it sucks that the Dresden Files could never make it as a TV series.
Hey, maybe someday, but not this era. But maybe someday.
If they load crossbows with toothpicks, insta-win.
Well, do you mean like a shotgun blast of like
yeah,
toothpicks?
Yeah, like little toothpicks, but you got to hit it in the right spot.
Yeah, you got to get it.
You got to hit it in the right spot.
One of these days, you're gonna wake up in a coma. Wake up in a. That's what season 3 gingerbread, I think. Dude, that would be fun. Like a little trivia of quotes. See how many we can get right. Because this is the show I should be able to do that with out of all of
them. Snyder says he won't be eaten when he arrives. Yes.
Yep. And they do, I think, in future seasons eventually say like both principals were eaten.
Yep.
It's such an absurd statement.
Principal Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 2. The Steak Giver.
You gotta love Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon. It seems the Buffy movie came out 4 months before the Highlander series. Both seem to have developed the Watchers independent of each other, and that happens. It definitely does happen. But I mean, we'll probably find out that there was some form of Watchers. There was, and God, my brain is farting right now. There's something from the 70s that has a form of it. The chat will know. Darkington has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships. Thank you. Never Any Briscoe County Junior love. Dude, I love that show. I watched that show in prison. That's when it came out. Jim Butcher references Buffy as a huge inspiration for the Dresden Files, which, as much as I love Buffy, is my favorite series. Books burn the show. Yeah, the show was not great, but the books, I can't believe they haven't tried to adapt that yet. And is the only non-Whedon series that captures the Whedon vibe really well. Agree. Book of Grudges.
Yeah,
Jim Butcher, cool dude. Oh, Jim Butcher's cool dude too. Had a booth next to his at Comic-Con back in 2010.
Neat.
The Sarah Michelle Gellar, who's AH.
Allison Hannigan.
Allison Hannigan scene was okay. Was amazing. You could see the exact moment that Buffy decides to go after the Master, and the exact moment that Willow realizes it, and it's all on the strength of the acting. And you pointed out earlier, or maybe it was before the show started, like the Allison Hannigan and Sarah Michelle Gellar never really had a chance to spread their acting wings again.
No,
not really. Not in a real.
You get some crazy excellent stuff from them in the later seasons, and you follow their careers after Buffy, and there's no like exceptional stuff. It's more so just, yeah, it's good to you, because I haven't watched How I Met Your Mother, but I know people like that show or whatever, and it's like, yeah, and it's cool stuff. It's just I'm just saying, like, those two at their best are really fucking good actresses.
Do you think they'll ever release a Blu-ray set of Buffy and Angel? I'd pay premium for it. You need to force Drinker to watch and review it, MauLer. Has he not watched he's watched Firefly.
Yes, but that's way easier. Even though that took us like half a year to get him to do all of Firefly, that you can do it theoretically like a day. But listen, it's okay. And Firefly's like fucking tailor-made for Drinker. There's nothing about it that doesn't, appeal in some way. I've showed him certain scenes from later seasons to try and say, like, this show, I think you'll really like it if you did watch it. I try to argue it's kind of like Farscape, but IMO is better. You do have to commit a lot of time, and basically Drinker's like, I can't do 12 seasons right now. I just can't. And he's not being unreasonable. I don't really, it's hard to, how it goes. Like, either if you're hooked in, you'll make time for it, but if you're not, it's hard to ask someone to just make time for 12 seasons.
No, not in this gig, when you have to drop stuff at the last minute. And
he said to me, like, is there a way you could make like a abridged sort of skippable set of episodes to watch? And it's like,
maybe someday. Maybe when he gets maybe he gets a bad cold and he has to and he's just at home. And honestly, all he can do is watch TV.
We'll just mention in chat, like, if he could just do one episode per week, that would be fine, because eventually he might get hooked, but it's, still.
Did they figure out what the oranges are for? Not yet. It's a mystery, Trent Johnson.
We've got the science team on it, though.
Yep. Trent Johnson has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships. Thank you, Trent. It's happening. MauLer, did you know how long I've been waiting to hear you dive into talking about Buffy? Oh, hi, Gary. You're cool, too. Thanks.
Well, I mean, this is just season 1, so yeah, we've got lots to talk about as time goes on. This is the season I am least passionate about out of the 12, but hopefully it was kind of what you're looking for. We'll probably do like a wrap-up on it once we're through the Super Chats, I guess. Just final thoughts on the season, but yeah. It's cool to talk about.
Long in the Fang. I don't know. Some subtitle, some suitable subtitle. Yeah, thinking of a name of our show that hasn't been thought of yet is going to be difficult. MauLer and Gary's Rip Roaring Vampire Stravaganza.
Well, we'll consider it.
Fall on that. Yeah. What do you guys think about the Clayface trailer? I liked it way more than I thought I would. Don't love Flanagan. Still hate Gunn. DCU is still screwed, but it was a good teaser trailer. Yeah, it wasn't a bad trailer. It didn't embarrass itself as a movie at all.
No, and we've said it could end up being a great movie, but it's still a bad decision. It just categorically is.
Stargate gets good later in the later fourth of season 1. Okay.
Latter fourth, I think they meant.
Latter fourth of season 1. That's good. Buffy, Roddick, and Longspire. There you go. Snacks. If you have to get hooked in 2 or 3 episodes, you will miss TNG, DS9, Smallville, The X-Files will hook you, and then lose you before Cancer Man comes back. The X-Files hooks you pretty quick. Many people's favorite episode of SG1 is in season 4. Gotcha. Matthew. Molly, you must Lord of Ring Gollum your PS4.
I don't know if I want to do that because I don't even have a PS4.
Oh.
I have a PS5.
Oh, so do I. My PS4
you,
is
gamer.
My oldest son just stole it. Dirty thief. I have a PS4 Lord of the Ring Gollum. I'm looking at it, but it's graded. I bought a graded copy.
It's important history, man.
It is. I believe Buffy and Angel is the reason we have crappy shows and movies now. The current writers try to copy the Joss Whedon formula and failed. That's happened a lot. Jose Taco.
It's crazy because, like, Rob Myburnet's talked about it a few times. We have the TV show or vibe infection, but then also Avengers having infected all of the MCU.
Yep.
And it's like, it's not fair because the things that did this are like good shit.
What would be your picks for the most overrated and underrated episodes between the 2 shows? That'd be a question for later. I'd have to have it fresh in my mind.
Most overrated and underrated episodes between the 2 shows. Damn. That's hard to think. I don't think I've ever thought of exactly because that reference. I guess that would be in reference to like the Buffy fandom as a whole. Underrated. This again. I'm looking. If it's controversial, so be it. Into the Woods. Into the Woods is hated on. It's a season 5 episode. It's where Xander tries to convince Buffy that she needs to figure out what she's doing with Riley before he's gone forever. I'm afraid Riley has kind of got some John Walker shit going on where he mostly does everything right and gets shat on by the entire fan base. Kind of like Xander, I guess. Maybe is better the comparison. Buffy fandom hate that Xander tells her what she needs to hear. I'm a defender of that episode. A lot of people hate it, so we can get around to talk about that when we get there. As for overrated, have you got anything for this?
No, no, because the episodes everybody loves, I kind of love. So
there might be something, and maybe
can't say like
2.
Hush is overrated.
No, it's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome.
There's definitely gonna be something. I would just have to look through, I think.
Yep.
I'm afraid I don't have an answer right now.
I'd have to have it fresh in my head for sure. Ty Robs $4.99. Also, the first episode, someone mentions James Spader, who Joss later cast as Ultron. Something about him being hot. It was Cordelia doing the cool test on Buffy.
Yeah, Buffy says like he needs to date me or call me, I think it is.
Yep. Thought it was interesting. Yeah. Can't wait for the multiple long Fargate streams someday. Imperial.
Yeah, we'll get to Fargate. We will.
Yeah. $2 to complain that you skipped me. LOL. Did I skip you? I'll go back and look. Talk amongst yourself, MauLer.
But why don't they just, say the thing so that, because I'm looking as well. Best thing about season 1 is how often they reference it in later seasons. They even kind of make fun of some of the episodes. I guess we did accidentally miss that one, but also I completely agree. This show is very much cool on the front of not only keeping in continuity as best it can, almost to the point where I don't think I've seen a show do it better. Like the detail they keep to all their old shit when they really, even by fan accounts, like you don't have to keep that. And then simultaneously, they're willing to make fun of themselves for their mistakes, which is cool.
This is the one right here.
Yeah.
That's the one. So the best thing about season 1 is how often they reference in later seasons. They even kind of make fun of it some of the episodes. They're very aware of that.
It is a self-aware show to the point where a lot of shows don't want to do what it does, which is, like I said, they crack the formula in season 3. Most shows would just keep doing it forever until it fades. But they were like, no, let's switch it up, and then they switch it up again, and then they do things to their characters that most shows would be like, are you insane? Why would you do that? That's not a smart move. Even to the point where we would say, like, don't do multiverse, don't do time travel. One of the ones that I have in that list is don't resurrect. It's a dodgy thing to do. It's hard to maintain your stakes if you can resurrect, but somehow Buffy is possibly the best example I would give of a resurrection when we get there. It's
oh yeah, and they probably, like, after the first season, they're like, we should have kept Darla. What were we thinking?
Yes, yeah, that's the other resurrection that's also really good.
Yep. But thank you, Ona Biv. Thank you very much. Watched when Buffy aired originally, found and bought deluxe box set to keep forever. Peak TV. For your information, Lego released a $650 Minas Tirith. Sorry. Yeah, I've been keeping my eye on it. Well, I'm going to get it. Fucking Lego. I don't know where to put half this shit, too. Final super chat is me, says STY Games for $2.79. Are you sure, though? Are you sure? You sure about that? I went to Torrance High School. When they filmed it there, being cool meant something back then. This cast was cool.
Yeah.
That must have been interesting. When did they must have filmed it during the summer, obviously.
There's Willow says while they're walking down the steps, I think in the last episode, that she says, like, nerdy is in. Or something like that. And when I was watching, I was like, man, she has no idea how right she is that this era sort of spawns into, not only is nerdy in, it'll be so in that people will fake being nerds to be cool.
That is weirdest thing. I never thought I'd see that in my life.
None, same.
I let Ryan know about the proper watch order for Firefly, and he got pissed. LOL. Gotta love that young old grump. Yeah, he is the youngest old grump I've ever met in my life.
It is worth watching it in order, though.
It is. Divorced from all the stupidity of the DCU, a body horror Clayface movie in the framework of The Fly could be awesome. It could. Too bad James Gunn fucked it up and made it in universe. It should have been in Elseworlds. That would have been probably more interesting. The last super cat of this stream will be me again.
All right.
We need to start comparing any and all future Darth Vader appearances to his Fortnite one and ask me why he's saying less slurs than he used to. I don't know.
It's out of character, man. He's got to get back to
got to get back to slurring. Spike, Lauren, Xander, Oz, Willow, Giles, Angel, Wesley, Fred, Gunn, Drusilla, Master, Dracula, Buffy, and Dawn Connor are dead last. Wow.
Dawn and Connor being last makes sense for a lot of people.
Show name, MauLer and Gary wear the cheese.
But it does not wear me.
But it does not wear us. Attack of the Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Amazon Women on the Moon are two movies you didn't know you needed to see. Please write them down. Campy cult classics. I've seen them both.
I was going to say, I think I've seen Attack of the Killer Clowns from Outer Space, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I've seen them both. Titled Chasing Buffy, that'd make you J, Gary. Or gay. I don't know. YouTube is stupid for removing the clips feature.
Did they?
Did they?
Because, yeah, why would they do that?
Why on earth would you do that? Falcon Jared for $10 says, hello, Gary and MauLer. Thank you for all the streams. What are you guys' thoughts on Jack Ryan on Prime? Why can't we fix the Terminator with all future war scenes? Jack Ryan on Prime was fine. I know they're coming out with another movie. It's been a while.
I haven't seen Jack Ryan.
It's all right. Yeah, it's not bad. Final super chat is moi.
Moi.
But it's not. Have either of you seen the original unaired Buffy pilot episode? It's on YouTube. Willow is not played by Allison Hannigan. I know.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I didn't know the other girl, but yeah, I mean, it's a bit of history for you. It's almost like a thing you could check out if you're a big fan of Buffy. It's kind of interesting. Same with the movie at that point as well.
Maybe I have. Yeah, again, it's been a long time. I will secure my place as the last super cat today. But he won't. Buffalo Blue Bear for $1.99. Dawn and Connor had the whiff of Cousin Oliver. Oh, totally.
I think Dawn might be harshly judged because she's a pretty authentic teenage girl, like a younger, more bratty one. But Connor is just awful. I have no defenses of Connor.
Terrible. Dawn, I can accept at some points. All right. Super Cat final is Moi. All right. And that's it. We're at the end.
Season 1, closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts on season 1. It did what it needed to do. It did the work it needed to do. Building up characters. Really campy. Really cheesy. Has some of the worst episodes of the entire series in it.
Yeah.
Although we still have a couple more to go.
Yeah, there's still more to go. This some of the one of the worst is in season 4.
Yeah.
The sex house, whatever the hell that episode was.
Oh my God. What is it? Beer good. That's
beer bad.
Beer bad. Sorry, beer bad. Is
funny.
Is super popular too. Beer bad. You know what? I don't hate that episode.
It's so retarded. But
I don't hate
funny.
it.
I love knowing it's supposed to like be propaganda. Like don't drink beer.
I know, right?
Good job, guys.
How was your weekend, Super Cat? Says Imperial Fist Stan. Jose A. Taco sends a 99-cent super sticker. Super Cat final is me, not all of you. MauLer, your final thoughts.
I've always liked it. This is because Buffy's like extremely attached to me in every way, so shape, form, heart wise. But I simultaneously regularly argue it's pretty bad. And I understand a huge building block of getting anyone into the show, but simultaneously, you gotta see it. You gotta know this is how it all starts, and then it's even more fun to see how it gets better in all these different ways because they do such a good job going forward. But broadly, this was a tough thing they pulled off, I guess. Replacement season, not the greatest budget, not really knowing what they're doing exactly, figuring out the lore as they're going. Plenty of little diamonds in the rough when you watch this season. Some episodes work in full, but then there's just some scenes that are like, oh, the acting's good there, or oh, that's an interesting choice for like a character development thing. But the main thing is that you have pretty well thought out characters at this point, and some lines of dialogue, if not the majority of it, is like it reaches a certain level that you're like, this is fun enough. I can tolerate this. And then you're like, well, what if it got even better and then better and then better? And that's kind of the promise of the show at this point. So, if you like season 1 even a little bit, this show may very well be for you.
Yep. The characters were good enough for me, and it was fun enough at the time where it made me carry on, and I'm glad I did. Very glad. Super chat final me. Nope. Kennedy is worse than Connor.
That's fair.
Super Cat is better than Connor. 11th Super Cat's James Gunn. All right. Thanks to the Modrotics. Thanks to everyone who left a super cat and a super chat. Oh boy. Here we go. Have supper, will cat mine to be exact. I'm gonna have supper.
I feel like English is leaving us.
We are leaving. Dude, I'm getting delirious because I need to eat. So thanks for joining us. We will be back in a couple weeks, and this will be re-uploaded on Nerdrotic Live. And I love doing this. This is tons of fun. So thanks, MauLer. Appreciate you.
Thank
you. Chat. Have a good night. By the way, if the apocalypse comes, you can beat me. Oh boy. Jason Holland for 20. Final cat, final Moi for 2. Imperial Fistan, poo poo pee pee man. Okay, we're gonna end it there.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.